Oh no. What is going on with this? Now you guys are having technical difficulties here. Hold on. Oh, I see what's going on. Ya veo lo que está pasando. You flip the camera around. Oh, there we go. Welcome everybody to the Spiritual Talk Podcast, hosted by the universe. Oh, you go. You see the lens. Welcome everybody to the Spiritual Talk Podcast. Okay, let's be serious now. Hi everybody. Where's Jenny? Hi Ricardo. Hi Ceci, how are you? Hi Priscilla, how are you? You guys share the live. Hi Jenny. Okay, Jenny's here already. Give me a second, Jenny. Jenny's in the house. Is you okay? So you
Okay.
guys, this is Jennie Ortiz. She's a psychic. Well, more you're medium, right? You do
Wait a
psychic
minute.
stuff
They're
for medium.
frozen. Somebody's frozen down there.
Did I freeze? Let me see. Hold on. Now the screen is. Now it's black. I don't know what is going on here. Ya llegó el cucuy. Oh my god, ya llegó el cucuy. Hold on. You hear me? Ya llegó el cucuy. No nos quiere dejar. Oh my god, hold on. I don't know what's wrong. The camera is black. What is wrong with this? Blessings, blessings. Thank you. What is going on with my phone? Okay, it's doing that. Hold on. Oh, there we go. I'm back. I'm back. Does it work now? Or am I still frozen? Hello. Hello. You can see me now? Can you hear me talk? Okay. I'm bugging. I'm bugging. Let's see. Let's go back to regular. How about now? Can you see me now? Okay. See, guys? Okay, you're here, Jenny? Okay. Oh my god. Hi, Mike. How are you? Blessings.
Hello, I'm back. Anybody see us? Did everybody see us now?
Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you for sharing, Priscilla. Thank you. I can't get used to saying Lotus here, but now we can say thank you, Lotus, before it was tops. Hi, Elsa. How are you? Okay, you can see us both. Okay, Jenny, back to business. So tell us a little bit about yourself. What is it that you do, or what's your title? What do you call yourself?
My name is Jennie Ortiz. I'm an author, but I like calling myself spiritual reader. I always did, but ever since that I became an author and decided to come on TikTok, everybody knows me about medium. So I kept calling myself a medium. So yeah.
Okay. So I've been reading your book, and so first I would like to start is you have a big family, but
Yes,
you
I
have a
do.
lot of but you have a lot of family that have already passed on, right?
Yes.
So I was picking up on that, especially the story of your, I think it's your great grandfather Pedro.
Yes.
You know,
He's
I
my
think
mother's grandfather.
your mother's got. So I think you've told the story before, but for just because I think it's such an interesting story, right? Of how he passed. Can you tell us a little bit of that story?
Okay. He and his wife was my mother's grandmother was farmer workers. They they help everybody pick up I think it was the cottons or something. I'm not sure what it was that they were doing. And he was the owner of the place. So he was the boss that paid everybody off. And in the long run, he was paying everybody. The wife cooked and gave food to the people that was working in the farm. And this guy came along, he gave him the check, and because he didn't pay, I guess the guy thought he was cheap, didn't pay him extra money. It was only 15 cents, and my great grandfather got killed.
For 15
So
cents. That's the part that I mean, and I'm sure we're talking about like in the what the 40s, 50s,
I think that was, I think it's the 40s. Yeah, the 40s, I
40s,
think it
right?
was. Yeah,
Like yeah. So
yeah,
for 15 cents, wow, like for some, I'm sure that in those times money meant a lot. I mean, it could have been
yeah.
anything, right?
Because the
Pero
movies back then was 10 cents.
wow.
That's a lot of money for back in the days.
Yeah, it was to me. It just seems so interesting that, and because you hear, people do get killed over money, But nowadays, in 2023, you hear 15 cents that to get killed for 15 cents. How how like how insignificant now it is,
But the
right?
thing is, ironically, the guy that killed my mother's grandfather, his brother ended up marrying my grandmother's sister.
Really?
because the
So,
psychic told them that if you don't accept this guy into the family, he's gonna treat you like a brother, a mother, a son, like you're his son. And that's how he was. He treated the family as unique, loving, and everything. But I never got to know his brother, so I never knew him.
never knew them. So you're
I only
talking about
met
this
his
is
uncle.
Blanca's sister, right? Your grandmother, Blanca's sister, is how is the one you're talking about that married the guy?
No, is it Titimino? I forgot her name. She was my mother's grandmother.
Your mother's friend.
My mother's sister. My grandmother's sister.
Okay, la hermana de tu grandmother. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. My
tu
great
great
aunt.
grandmother, your great
My
aunt.
great
Okay.
aunt.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah.
Yes.
So that would be Blanca's tia. Your grandmother Blanca. She would be her tia.
No, it will be my mother's aunt.
Okay. So is Blanca and her related? Is what I was trying to figure out.
Blanca is
But-
my grandmother. My mother is named also Blanca Enelida Vasquez.
Okay. No, pero digo la señora, the one that you were just talking about right now, your aunt.
She lived in New York.
Pero ella de quién era hermana de Blanca, your
De
grandmother.
Blanca. Yeah, de
Okay,
my
yes, that's what I
grandmother.
was thinking.
Yes.
Okay, yeah. And your grandmother,
Yes.
and the reason why I'm getting to the bottom of this is because, por ahí vino like, you guys all kind of come from like this line of like, later you found out in the, as you read keep on reading the book, you later find out that when your grandmother Blanca, right, who went through a lot of traumatic experience herself as well with her husband passing, um, um, I'm not sure if that's something you want to share about how.
Well, I mean, he was a workaholic. He liked his own business. My grandfather. And he went to a psychic lady, and the story goes that I didn't put it in the book that he actually the psychic lady claimed that my grandmother cheated on him, and it wasn't the truth because he was the one that cheated on her,
Yeah.
and that's how he had another boy from a different woman. But um, my grandfather came home, and my grandmother had a baby girl. That was my aunt, Camelina. On the book, it's called. Her name is Camelina, and she had her feeding her when he came to the door. He was planning to kill her, but instead because he saw the baby on her arms, he walked away and killed himself.
Well, the traumatic experiences that your family has had since before you were born and after you were born, because I mean that's just like the beginning of it from what I've been reading in the book, you know.
Yeah.
So your family has had a lot of trauma, and I remember we talked about how I mentioned to you how the gift that you guys had se tenía que haber pasado por generación, but and those traumatic experiences se bloqueó a lot of the people, right, that were to have these gifts.
I believe so. I believe so because I just found out 2 or 3 years ago now that my mother's great grandmother, Mama Lisa, that she lived 120, that she was a curandera. She healed with herbs and stuff. And I just found this out recently. I didn't
Yeah.
know nothing about it. But I also asked my uncles, my mother's half brother that lives in New York, and his father, that's the same as my mother's father, um, grandparents also had the gift. And I found out a couple of years ago. But I don't know any about my mother's family side of the father because everybody took off and left.
Yeah,
But
that's
my
it. Because
father's
that's
side.
what I. So what? Yeah, because when I'm reading the book, and so you went through a few experiences before you started wanting to know questions and wanted to know where did you get this from, and you were digging way beyond most people would dig. I mean, you were just what compelled you to want to know where did you get these gifts from?
The reason I wanted to learn, I always wanted to learn about my family history, my past, Mommy was like, nah, pa qué, whatever. But I wanted to know. I wanted to see what was about, where we come from. But because I didn't know better, we decided to when began writing the book, I started asking questions. Um, and that's how I decided to find out who had the gift, who didn't, and stuff like that. And it jumped generations to me.
Yeah, and I'm what I'm gathering from this, from my personal experience, is that when people have traumatic experience, one of the two, it either you bottle everything in, even your gifts, or they wake up, right? And yours started waking up in the middle of a lot of traumatic experiences that you were going through.
Yes, yes. Um, After my sister-in-law's grandparents passed away, we
And we're talking,
decided to
and
move.
this is your sister-in-law, I have it, Marie.
Marie.
Okay,
Yes, Marie is Leah, my
Leah. Okay.
sister-in-law Leah, but that's her name in the book.
Oh, I see. Oops, I hope I
No,
don't.
don't worry about it. Don't worry
Okay.
about it. Um, Leah, I know Leah since she was 5 years old, from the neighborhood, from that old neighborhood. Um, well, I went to school and everything. Um, when I came back home, Leah's grandparents just finished stopped doing daycare because they had a big house, a colonial house. It was a big house, and she was supposed to go with me somewhere. It was the first time since I know Leah that she asked me to sleep over her grandparents' house
Oh, well,
while
hold
we.
on, because I was going to get to that, but give me a quick second. Before we do jump into that story you're going to get into, I want to know more about the Nellies,
My mother, Nellie.
your mom and your grandmother, their relationship.
Oh, my mother and my grandmother was very close to each other. My mother loved my grandmother. My grandmother Blanca moved to New York after her husband passed away to get a job because they was trying to get a job in Puerto Rico, but she couldn't find none at that time. So she left her kids with her mother, Mama Con. Uh, Mama Con helped raise six of the kids. Because by that time, after my grandmother's husband killed himself, a few months later, her 3-year-old daughter died
Oh, wow.
also. So she couldn't deal with it. So she's trying to find a job to help the family. So she moved to New York to the Bronx.
And then your mom, from what I gathered from the book, was your mom the oldest out of all the kids?
My mom was the youngest out of the boys.
Out of the boys, okay.
Yeah, my uncle Elliot is the oldest.
So your
My
mom
mom
had
was the
to,
third one in my grandmother's side.
okay, but your mom had to pretty much start working at a young age herself to help your
My
mom,
mother started
grandmother.
helping her grandmother help clean the house, um, iron the clothes and everything else. So to help her grandmother, she used to go to people's houses and for 75 cents clean people's houses. But back then it's a lot of money. 75 cents was a lot of money back then.
Right, right, right. So
So
they had
she
a
gave
very
her grandma 50 cents and she took 25 cents for herself.
She was smart because she kept some for herself. A lot of people would just give everything. A lot of people would give
Yeah.
everything to their parents or their grandparents. It's
Yeah.
smart to keep a little something.
Then
Yeah.
mommy used to wash the dishes, but because she was young, she didn't know better. She wanted to hurry up and wash the dishes and go with her brothers and play. But every time she washed the dishes, she broke a dish, and
Uh-huh.
they had a trunk um full of china for people to come visit. But the problem I got is if they had a china that looked the same as the dishes that she was washing, why would you keep the china in the trunk? If they same thing. So by the
So,
time they realized, my mother used all the china that she broke to replace from the china of the trunk. I
so
still
that
want to
was
know
like,
how did nobody notice?
yeah, because when you started talking about the dishes, I started laughing because I read that part where your grandmother had a chest of beautiful china dishes, right? And every time your grandmother would break, or yeah, your mom would break whether a plate or something, instead of throwing it
They
away, and
replaced it with the
she
China.
would go and grab a dish from the fine china. That was so funny because by the time they realized que ya no había fine china, it's because oh my god, that was so
Yeah,
funny. Yeah, I remember. That's it. Because besides that funny story of just seeing your mom, I wanted to take the moment just to say to tell your mom's spirit. First of all, she raised a beautiful woman, you
thank
know,
you.
named Jennie Ortiz that has given us a lot of love, a lot of support, and has shared with us a lot of her knowledge, sus sentimientos and everything, and always continue to be the person that you are. And I know that if it wasn't for your mom, giving birth to you and to your siblings, but no, we wouldn't be here either, having this beautiful experience with you.
Next, thank you.
So now, so we were going to Leah's house, at Mr. Broderick's house, is what I call it, right? There was a mansion.
That house used to be owned by the silent movie. When back then the silent movies used to be, a lady used to own it. So when Leah's grandparent bought it, they had a button that you can press, and the third floor, the butler used to come down from the third floor. So when we moved in, because the grandparents passed away, um, literally I have to say when I moved, I stayed over the first time in
Yeah,
Leah's
that's what
grandmother's
happened the
house.
first. Yeah, that's what I was gonna ask you because we're gonna get a little bit into or maybe we should tell a story a little bit because you were there at the house and you were gonna spend the night for the very first time, and
Yes,
then
I was going to
you
spend
heard
time over
a
there because
dog you heard a
we were
dog
supposed.
howl first, right? Bless you, bless you, bless you.
Excuse me. Um, we were we were there because I was supposed to sleep over because we were supposed to go out the next day. We heard we were in the kitchen talking. Leah, her mother and grandmother. The grandfather was in the living room when I heard him call out for Joni. That's Leah's mother. And we all looked back to see what was going on. He collapsed, hit his head against the wall when he landed on the sofa. We ran towards him, and he was like, "Oh, okay with it?" He's like, I'm okay," and he was swearing like he always did.
Oh,
And
oh, man.
but I heard the dog howl, and nobody heard it. They were next to me. The dog was next to me. Everybody was next to me, and the dog was howling, and nobody heard it. So we ended up going to the hospital to check up on him because they take him to the emergency room to see what was going on, why he fainted and
So
everything.
before we carry on with the story, so I want to ask you this because did you see that as an omen that something was gonna happen?
Yeah,
Because I
you
know you
always heard
mentioned
that
something about that.
if the dog howls, if something's coming.
Okay.
Yeah, and because I mean the dog didn't have to howl that night.
Have you at that point did you have other because this is the beginning where you start having like paranormal activity or stuff going on in your life where you're starting to wake up and you're starting to realize, hey, something's not and you were a little bit afraid of it at the beginning, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know what was happening. I mean, the first time everything started happening, my bed, my aunt gave me a brand new bed, so I thought the bed was haunted.
Oh, yeah, and you threw away the mattress.
Yeah, I took the I took the mattress away. Yeah, and I ended up getting my own bed back because
Yes.
I thought it was the mattress itself.
But
Never thought.
okay,
I didn't think.
so but not only that, at the same time, so when you were still sorry, I jumped a little bit on that one because I wanted to get to about the omens. Oh, do you believe that omens are true? Like the significance of the omens? 'Cause I kind of do.
Of like the
Like
dog barking and stuff.
the
Oh
dogs, yeah,
yes,
stuff
I
like
do
that. Yeah.
believe that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know to that point, you hadn't had any experience that you could remember
No.
with
No.
an animal or nothing. It was the first
Nothing.
time, so it was
That was the
something
first time.
que se te grabó en la mente that was
Yeah.
it's okay. Hello, sister. Hello, everybody. By the way, everybody downstairs, we're already a few questions into an interview with author Jennie Ortiz, medium. She's also a Reiki Master. She's She's an empath. She's a little bit of everything, but we're getting into it because first we're getting into it. Okay, so back to the interview, you guys. So then, so okay, so you were at the house too, at Mr. Broderick's house is what I call it, right? The mansion that was owned by the those black and white, no,
Yeah, the black and white silent movies. Yes,
silent movie actor or actress, right? It was a
I
woman,
think it
right?
was
That
an
owned the house.
actress. Yes,
Yeah. And the house had 16 rooms.
he had
It was a
four in the first floor, four in the second floor. That's eight, and three in the attic. Four in the attic. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So it was a pretty big house. Papa, hold on, give us some space. Oops, sorry, you guys. And so so I was reading the book before Mr. Broderick, because he hit his head right after that happened. But you also heard something about the ringing of the phones.
Yeah, that night, the same night that he landed in the hospital, they left him in the hospital. And that day I drove Leah's brother to the bowling alley with a family friend, our family friend that we grew up together, all of us. And we went home and we were playing Nintendo. Nintendo just happened to come out back then. And I think it was Nintendo or Atari. I cannot recall, but I think it was an Atari. My head is telling me Atari. We were
You're
playing
probably right.
Atari and the
You're
phone
probably
kept
right.
ringing. But you know, the house phone back in the days didn't have different tones
It
of the
was all
house
just
phone. It kept ringing and ringing. So I got bothered by it. And I said, Leah, will you please go and check who's calling? It's bothering me. The phone call is bothering me. So by the time she went to get the phone, her mother also picked up the phone at the same time from one of the floors. And when she came back, she was crying that her grandfather passed.
okay. Okay.
I went and got her brother at the bowling alley to tell him and stuff. They came back to the house, and I called my family because my family knew everybody over there and told them
Okay.
what's going on. Yeah.
So soon after he passed away and his wife passed away is when you and your mom, Mrs. Nellie, moved into the house.
Yes, after her grandmother passed away, by that time my brother was living with Leah. They had a little boy, Christopher. Um, in the book is called his name is Kirk.
Okay.
And we decided to help them pay the bills because the house was big.
See.
So Joni, Leah's mom, lived in the first floor. We lived in the second floor, and my brother lived in the third floor. It had a mini kitchen because the butler lived in the third floor, so they had a mini kitchen up there, and we had a mini kitchen that we decided to make. But the main stove and everything was in the first floor.
The first floor. So yeah, so
Hmm.
that's it. So that was more or less right before the summer of 1995 when you heard the three knocks, right?
Yes. The first time we moved in, I was upstairs in the third floor playing with my brother's computer in the bedroom, and I heard the three knockings, and I kept hearing, and I thought it was Christopher that was trying to come into the bedroom, not thinking a 2-year old don't know how to climb the stairs that well yet.
Right,
I
right.
was still young. I didn't know better. I was like, Christopher, come in, Christopher, come in. But he never came in. So I opened the door and I looked around. I looked all the rooms. I was like, maybe he went downstairs. Still thinking, come on, a 2-year old don't go down the stairs that fast. Anyway, he was just started to walk anyway. So I went back to the bedroom and started playing again when I heard the three knockings. And when I realized that three knockings was coming from the closet.
Okay, yeah.
There was nobody home except my mom and Christopher. My mom was in the second floor. I was in the third. How fast? And that moment, I heard my mom say, "Come down and eat. It's our lunchtime." I left that room. I never went back until my brother got home.
How did you deal with? How did you deal with? Because at this point, when I'm getting from the bucket, now you're being very scared. You're starting to get frightened now. You don't understand what's going on, but you know that something's going on. The doors start opening up in your bedroom,
I was
unexpectedly.
watching TV that night. A few months later, and I didn't have the light on, obviously, because I wasn't afraid of the dark. I was watching TV, and I noticed my door uh kept opening. But the thing is, that door was kind of hard to open because the door was painted so many times that it makes noise to open. So it wasn't making any noise. So when I looked and I went straight to my mom's room, but the thing is, I thought it was my mom. I was going to say, Mom, why you do that for? But the problem was, it's kind of hard for her to come to my bedroom and jump into her bed because we're divided by a bookshelf of 1,000 books
Yes,
that
yes.
they had from the 1800s.
Yes, yeah, I remember. Yeah, so it was hard. Yeah, and then not only that, I mean, you were having troubles also with the closet, right? I mean, estaba el boogeyman allá adentro, or what was the kind of
No,
got
I
into?
didn't. I ran out of the room that moment. I didn't
Okay,
know what was happening. The door was not. They were knocking at the door in the closet,
this is the
so I never
beginning
went
of
back.
Jenny running out of her room like 100 million times cada vez que la espantaban, you guys. Because
So that was the first time in Leah, because we thought growing up, we heard rumors that Leah's house, grandma parents' house, was haunted. I never thought I would be seeing hear something, but I did.
you also
Yeah.
something that was also very interesting in the book that I was reading is that you had noticed that the bigger your family got, the more stranger things started happening.
Yes. Yes. Um, my mom by that time already have seen the boy in my house.
So you Nelly saw the boy first, but you hadn't seen him yet
No, no, no,
because
no. No, the boy, I the only one that saw the boy.
okay, okay, yeah, but that's a little bit because we're almost getting there because okay, so when the little boy they're talking about right now that do you say your mom saw ese que es otro or around the right before mental when you started dealing with the mental illness in the family, right? And in the book I was reading that you noticed that the bigger your family got, the more stranger things started happening.
Yeah, because after Christopher was born, we can feel the things changing in the house.
Yeah,
And was when the door opened for the second time, I realized later on that it's a signal to me that something's going to happen in somebody's life.
exactly. So you started
The
picking up on these messages, you know?
Yeah,
Okay.
yes.
But were you afraid of those messages that you were picking up
No,
on?
I wasn't afraid because I didn't think it was me.
Okay. So did you separate what was going on with the doors then from the messages, and you try to kind of because tenías mucho miedo that was going on with the stuff at the doors and the
Um,
tapping on the
when okay, when this happened with the doors and stuff in my bedroom, you talking about my bedroom?
yeah, yes, when you were
Okay,
living in the Mr. Broderick's house.
Mr. Patrick. Okay, my bedroom door in Patrick's house. That was Leah's grandfather's room.
Yeah. Oh,
Something
that's right. Because
I
that's
didn't know it was Leah's grandfather's room
yeah, because
until I
James
went
Broderick.
downstairs to the kitchen
Yeah.
and talked to Joni, Leah's mom, and she told me that was her father's room. I shouldn't be scared. And I said, "Thank you for not scaring me at the same time."
Right. And at the same
Uh,
time, you started noticing a trend in your own family that there was, especially with the story of Andy, that a lot of people started, mental
so
illness
what
started
happened
starting
was
everywhere.
Leah has this gift, but Leah don't try. Leah don't practice it.
Yes.
Leah only once in a while do Leah sees things, but not all the time. And being in Leah's grandmother's parents' house, Leah used to be panic person. Leah scared us more than the spirit did. And when Leah's one time I was in Leah's bedroom and she kept telling me, "Do you feel this? Do you feel this?" It was a breeze coming out of nowhere. I felt it, but I wasn't gonna say yeah. I grabbed Christopher and I left the room.
So was it because around that same time your best friend Debbie passes away, right?
Yes. By
And
that time, yeah, my best friend Debbie passed away 8 months after her brother passed away. That was the twice the door opening on their own.
yeah, and that's around the time in the summer of August 2000 when things started kind of getting a little bumpy. Then, well, you started having
Yes.
more
After
paranormal
that, it got started
experiences.
getting pumpy. Yes.
Bump, bump in the noise. Yeah, because
Hmm.
that's when you notice that's the little boy jumping on your bed, right?
Yes. By that time, they sold my Leah. They sold their grandmother's house. Joni sold her mother's house, and my brother decided to move to New Hampshire and bought two-family home. The other side was from my mom's side, and for the other side was from my mom his side.
Oh,
And I was living with my mom at the time, and then I moved in. I moved out, and I got this place where I'm at
okay,
now.
okay,
And when as I moved out in 2001, um, that's when the boy appeared in my room.
okay. And that was at the house that you live with your mom in New Hampshire with your
No,
brother. No, no, no.
this is the apartment I'm at now.
Oh, that you're at now. Okay, okay, okay. So you started noticing. Okay, so and that was oh yeah, because the summer of August 2000. You must have moved there at the where you're at now, and you said 2000 or 2001. It's like
2000.
maybe I okay 2000. Yeah, because that's when things started happening. As a little boy jumping, and you felt him in the bed, right? And you used to hear the
Yes.
thump. So
I
right
was
before.
sleeping. I went to sleep that night, and I felt somebody jumping in my bed, and I prayed to God to help me because I was scared. I didn't know what was happening. By that time, my aunt have already have given me the bed. I
Right.
got rid of my bed, and my aunt gave me her the new bed that she got, and that was the moment that he started jumping in my bed and stuff.
But that was not the same bed that she had getting rid of. Uh,
No, that was the bed that everything started with. The bed that my aunt gave me, the mattress.
you know, like around that time, you were 39 years old from what I gathered in the book.
I was 38. I
38.
think I was 38 by that time. Yes.
Because I think that I read in the book when you started like when things really started happening that you started accepting. You had turned 39, and I was just thinking because if you add the number 9 and 3, you get the number 12, and the number 12 is a very significant number with all of the spirituality stuff. I don't know if you're aware. But it does. It talks about how like the number 12 is the number that the spirits are there to help you to open up your gifts because they're trying to get you to become a service.
I did not know that I had the gift. I lived in a housing, and I went to housing, and I said, "Look, move me. I see ghosts." I
Yeah.
told the truth. I told the truth. And the lady in the desk went to the back room and told everybody that what I said, and they were laughing about it.
I
So
remember the
when
book,
she came back out,
which is very, you know, I was gonna, you know, how did that make you feel that people were laughing at stuff that you were seeing? Because at this time, you know, you're afraid, but you're starting to accept that you might have some gifts because right before this, you know, and we'll talk about a couple of other things that happened to you. Then you truly accepted what you were doing. But before that, you were still very afraid because there was kind of more like paranormal activities going on, and then you started
well,
getting the
yeah,
messages.
because I kept feeling the hand being touched on my back.
Right? Playing with
I
your
didn't know what was
earrings, your
happening.
hair.
I kept hearing things in my ears. I kept being touching my hair, and I thought it was a bug in my hair, and I kept looking around to see it was a bug, and it wasn't that. And then I kept hearing the door. I mean, I kept seeing glitter
Later.
on my
Yeah.
in my bedroom door, and I was like, "What is it? What's going on?" And I finally, big mouth, I am. I said, "What do you want from me? What do you want?" And when I said that, I have my I have my window here,
Uh-huh.
and I heard three knockings coming from the window. I left the house. I didn't stay
Running.
either.
Because
I
you were
didn't stay
every
either.
time something like this would happen in your house, you would run away.
Yeah, because I was afraid. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't have
And
anybody to help me to
and what
understand my journey.
And okay, so because you were going through the, that's what I was going to ask you. So it was because there was nobody to that point. You hadn't met anybody, and we'll get to who you. What was one of the first people that you met that started understanding your journey, besides Leah, because Leah had some gifts of her own, right? And at least you felt by then you felt a little bit better about who you were because you met someone that had a little bit of stuff that
Leah
was going on.
Leah came to my apartment to because I begged her. She didn't want to come. I said, Leah, can you come to my apartment to see what the kid wanted? And the kid wanted was to show me was the beginning of my journey, and at the same time to play with me. But I said to
But she
my
didn't
surprise, I
want
said at 2:30 in the morning, you wanted to play with me. You couldn't wait for the morning. But
to.
that was the moment that the aha moment to me.
But and then that's around the same time that you saw the what I call the eye of Jesus on the wall.
That was a few months later, after I got my bed back. And I asked the housing to move me, but they never did. As you can see, I'm still
Yeah,
here.
because you were
I
scared
was watching
they wouldn't
TV.
move you.
I was calm, and I was watching TV. On the in the living room, and for some reason, something catch my eye, where my dining room table is at, right on the wall, and I could see an eye. I didn't know. I was like, "Am I going crazy?" I'm seeing an eye in the wall. Who I'm going to tell? Nobody's going to believe me that I'm seeing an eye on the wall. Then a few days later, I saw the eye again. And this time it was in the living room while I was watching TV. This time I said, I don't know what's going on. Who are you? And what do you want from me? When I said that, literally, it became to become, it started making a shape, and I could see the outline of the big person. And for me, I felt like it was Jesus. And I says, you know what? I believe in you and I love you, but I'm
But you
scared, and I
ran.
left.
You
And I
ran
left
that
again.
time. Huh?
It
Yeah.
took me
And
1 year
so,
exactly to win my fear back.
okay, so because we were talking, remember I mentioned earlier about the mental illness in the family, and then all the stuff that Andy went through. What made you? What did you ever think you were going crazy? Did you ever think something was happening to you
That year
in the
that
mental?
Andy was going through a rough time, and what happened was my grandmother Blanca that got diagnosed with cancer in the intestines, small intestines, and the doctor said was that cancer she had was like for teenagers, because she wasn't taking care of herself that well. Because whatever food she was making my grandfather, she did it for herself too. She ate the leftovers, and that wasn't a good protein for her. Okay, so when she passed, then a few months later, it was going no, before she passed, it was going one after the other, because my cousin Adi had cancer too. She was one of the young kids back then. She was going to high
It's
school.
like your family has had so much trauma with losing so many people one after another. I mean, obviously it's a big family, right? Pero se está muriendo gente left and right one after another. You know, and
Yeah,
then
and
having to
then
deal
and
with
then
discovering the mental
then
illness in the
when
family.
and then when everything was coming down, and Adi recovered after my grandmother passed. Adi recovered from cancer. She's remission for the to this day. Thank God.
Thank God.
And but then after that, something happened that Andy went to a party, and he took a drink, and somebody spiked with drugs. And
Right.
the doctor said was that he was going to have schizophrenic when he was in the 30s, because male, whoever is mental illness, when they're males, they used to get it after their 30s.
Okay.
But at the time, they didn't have he didn't have it. So when he drank the drug that he didn't know he had, caused him to lose control and balance. And he trusted me for some reason. And I asked the doctors why he always breaking in my bedroom, because by that time we were still living in Leah's grandmother's house.
Right.
And
Yeah.
we're and he always walked in my bedroom, and I was
Oh yeah, I
losing
forgot to
sleep.
talk about that. How scary must that have been for you
It
to
was
wake
hard
up?
because our family is very united, very close to each other, and to see Andy like that was heartbreaking.
I could just
Because
imagine. Yeah.
he was always talking about the government was after him, that the girlfriend had his baby. It was no girlfriend that had any babies of his. It
Yeah.
was all a lot. It was just in his mind. Um, but he was always comfortable in my bedroom. He was always quiet in my bedroom.
I think he was
Um,
just probably very comfortable with your presence because you probably didn't brush him off. You probably gave him the attention that he needed.
yeah, I think so too. But the thing is, he slept through the daytime, and I slept through the nighttime. So in the nighttime, I had to stay up because of him. I was having a nervous breakdown right there myself because I couldn't sleep
Right.
because he was always next to me. So one day I was sleeping, and my mom saw that he came in the hallway because he was slept in the third floor. And that day he came in my bedroom. My mom says, "Hey, Jenny, Andy's next to you." So I woke up and I says, "Hey, what's up? What you need?" He says, "No, I'm watching TV, but the thing is, my TV was off." He was watching I don't know what, but it
Watch it.
was not
Yeah.
nothing on my TV. So I said, "Well, you want to talk about something?" And he talked about it. He was like, "No, the government this." I said, "Don't worry about the government. Nothing's gonna happen and everything else." And then one day he kind of like lost it in a way. He forgot my family. He lost memory completely. He had fever. He thought his sister was his wife. He regained his memory back a week before his sister got married and stuff. And we were happy that we had him back, but not all of them back because
So
he
so
never
I
was
mean,
the same person.
you never staying the same person, right? And then I remember he told us that story of everything else that happened to him. But having all of that happening to you, and then your grandmother dying, and being and dealing with all this paranormal activity, but at the same time you're starting to realize, hey, wait a minute, I'm medium, I'm a medium, right? Because you're starting to get the
Well,
messages. So
well, no, I
you
didn't
ever
know
felt,
nothing. I was a medium yet. Into 2007, I went to Jack. I met Jackie Joy because Leah's
oh,
mother,
hold on. That's
Joan.
what I was getting to because you're jumping the gun. You're jumping the gun there because that's what I was going to get to is, um, out of a, then all of a sudden you end up going to that psychic fair, right? Where you meet Jackie Joy, the one that does the spirit writing, right?
Yeah.
But what led you to go to her? Because she's the first person that really validated your gifts and what you had, right?
Yes. Leah's mother told me because I was panicking. I didn't know what to go. I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, I remember
Leah's
you were
mother
going
said to
to
me, "Jenny,
churches, estabas yendo a las iglesias, trying to find a peace, right?
yes." That's in 2007. Um, I was in 2002. I didn't know what to do, and Leah's mother said to me, "Why you don't go to a psychic medium?" He was in Boston at the time, and I said, "Okay." I wanted to know what was happening to me, but he didn't give me much. He only said to me, "You're gonna be just like me and more better than Leah." That's what he said. He said, "You're gonna be more better than the one next door that was Leah. That Leah was there that day with me." He says, "And you have healing hands." I didn't know what healing hand was, right? So after that, we left the minister because he was a minister, and I told Leah what he said to me. I said, "That's very strange." And he says, "Okay." And then a few years later, um I met the metaphysical group because um Elizabeth Foley, I met her in a library. She was
Okay.
talking about angels, and we
So, but
went. It was
that was before or after meeting already Jackie Joy.
before I met Jackie Joy.
Okay, so you already searching, you already
I
looking, you're
was
trying to.
I was searching because we heard about this Elizabeth Foley. She was talked about angels. And she was in the library talking about it. So me and my friends and sister-in-law went to see her.
Okay.
So they invited her to the house for a reading, a special reading. And she looked at me. She says, you're special and you need to come and do that. But I didn't pay no mind to that, right? Because I didn't think nothing of it. But she
And you were
invited
still
us to a
afraid from everything that was going on at the house, right?
she invited me and my friends to the metaphysical group that was meeting at the bookstores at the time.
Okay.
It called Borders, the Border stores. Anyway, um, that's when I met Doran and them.
Okay. Okay.
And I didn't think nothing of it. I met Jackie Joy. I didn't meet Jackie Joy until later on. I stopped for a while going
The
to
group.
the metaphysical group, but then something started happening again that I was freaking out
Well, because
because my
you started seeing the sparkle, the glitter, the all over again, and the auras, right?
yes, I was seeing everything all over again.
Yes.
And Leah's mother told me it was going to be a psychic fair in Hudson, New Hampshire. So that day we were having a gathering in my cousin's house, and I begged my mom, "Mommy, déjame ir. I want to go to that psychic fair. I need to go. I need to investigate." For some reason, I came back to the house, to my building. I think it was to get my money or something. And Leah and my friend, one of my friends, stayed in the car. Well, I get the thing, but I found one of the ladies that lived in the building, and I told her where I was going, and she is the one that says, "Jenny, ask for Jackie Joy. She's a
Jackie.
wonderful reader. She does a spiritual writing." I didn't even know what spiritual writing was. I always thought that psychic would only read the hands. That's it. And when I went, I got to the psychic fair, and I told Leah and my friend, um, Blondie, I said, "Blondie, Leah, let me go first." Because I was that day, I was going to go to my mom and say, "Mommy, can I move back home with you?" I
I
was so
remember that.
nervous. I didn't know what to do anymore. So Leah and Blondie let me go in first. And when I did, she said, I says, what do you want? Cards, hands, or spirit? I says, "I heard you do spiritual writing." She's
So, what?
okay.
Can you explain to us what is spiritual writing for the people that don't know?
Okay. Spiritual writing is you let your spirits tell you things and you write it down.
So you're just scribbling stuff.
And you're scribbling whatever they're telling you. That's what it means, spiritual writing. She was talking, my spirits were telling her things, and they were telling her that it wasn't bad. It was my angels talking to me and everything. And I started crying. I felt like a rock fell off my shoulders
Right? Like a
that
lift.
day.
You felt
I
finally you
felt like
felt
I lifted off my shoulders. Yes,
the
I felt so
sensation.
relieved
Yeah, like you
for the
believe
first
like
time.
you found somebody that finally believed that everything you were going through,
And
you weren't
I
going
began to
crazy.
cry. That
Right.
was the day I began to cry. That Leah known me for so many years. Leah knows that I don't cry that easy. And
What
Leah
is
says, "Jenny, what happened? What she makes you cry?" And I said, "Leah, reason I cried was because I was wanted to go back home to mommy. I want to move back to home to mommy, but I'm going to win my fear back. I want to stay in my house."
what
And
was one of the things that you would recommend people doing when they're living in a state of fear because they're dealing with something similar to you? What is something that you would do that would try to help
find
you
help.
through this?
Find
Fine.
help. Find people that knows about this. Okay, help. Find people that understand your journey, because half of the time not everybody knows everything.
Right? And
Okay.
it's gonna happen like the housing people are. They're probably gonna laugh at you, and it's only gonna put
Yeah,
you
I
in a
went
worse
back to
state. You know?
housing again. I went back to housing and I said, "Listen, I wanted to move. I want you guys to move me." And she sat me down and says, "Jenny, let me talk to you about something." She says, "You think that this is your gift. This is yours. Do you not think that maybe if you move, it will happen again because you have a gift?" And
Yeah.
I looked at her and I was like, "Oh yeah." And that's
Because
where
it was
I'm
gonna
still
by
here.
then it was
I'm
gonna
still
follow you no matter where
here.
you went, right? It was still gonna follow you now.
Yeah.
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 So then, okay, so then right after meeting Jackie Joy and doing the spirit writing, then that's when you really started seeing more auras, right, from the people. You could see their energy.
I started seeing auras and stuff. Yes. I went to the church with my mom one night to the Catholic church, and my aunt Carmelina in the book says to me, Jenny, I think a friend of mine that lives in Nashua, New Hampshire, goes to that church. I says, okay. So this lady out of nowhere, ironically, um um her name was the same name as my aunt's friend, Lourdes. Her name is Lourdes. And she introduced herself. And I says, oh, you know Carmen and Angel. And ironically, she knows Carmen and Angel. So we thought they were same persons.
in person.
So we sat down. We were watching the event in the church. But when she got up to talk about the event that was happening at the church that week coming up, everybody around me vanished, and what I only saw was her aura. I mean, a light opened up to her that I never seen before in my life. It was beautiful white light. I mean, it was like a tunnel behind her. That's how it was. And I kept telling my mother, Mami, tú ves eso? Mami, you see this? Mami, tú estás viendo eso? And Mommy's like, what the heck's wrong with you? ¿Qué pasa? What's happening? I said, Mommy, I could see the light behind her, Mommy. This is beautiful, Mommy. Oh my God, this is the amazing scene to see this. So Mommy was so happy that I saw that and everything. And I wasn't going to tell the lady because the lady didn't know me. So mommy stood up and because she came up to us and asked us, how does she like the reading? I mean, the not the reading, the mass. And I said it was great, it was wonderful and stuff like that. And she said, "You gonna come back?" And mommy says, "I need to tell you something. She just saw a light behind you and everything. It's beautiful." So that week, I told my friends what happened, and I found out that she was asking for answers to her husband that passed away the year before.
Wow.
She gave me
So
the
you think
biggest hug I ever felt at the church that I never felt in my life. She said, "Thank you for it." And I never forget that. It was amazing hug that she gave me. Yeah.
so around that time is when the things started happening in the door. But what
Yes.
the part that I'm trying to, because you used to have visions, right? You used to have, we used to see against the wall, you used to see people there, right? Like the one story
Um,
that happened before the door, or that happened after the door.
that happened after the door.
Okay, okay. So first, like around 2001 was when you started noticing the door where you live now started changing, right?
Like always, I was in my computer writing, doing things, different things, and I happened to turn and I saw looked at the door and I was like, wait a minute. Se ve como Jesucristo. I see Jesus there. I see the Virgin Mary there. I called mommy. I said, Mommy, you need to come. I went downstairs and I got two people from the buildings. And I said, come upstairs. I need you to see this. Please let me know what you see. And they're all like, oh my God, this is beautiful and stuff. And then mommy came on and says to me, now what? What happened now? What's going on? So I said, Mommy, come in here and look at this. And she's like, ay, Dios mío, oh my God, ay, Dios mío, oh my God. I can see Jesus and the Virgin Mary. I says, okay. So I thought she got kept it quiet, but I found out later on she told
Everybody,
the entire family.
because you have people coming to your house from all over the
Um,
woodwork, wanted to
After
touch the
that, my
door.
friends came and saw my door and everything else. To make it the story short, over 100 people came to see my door.
Yeah, they kept on coming almost every day, right,
Mm-hmm.
to touch the door. But the funny thing, the crazy thing that was happening is that a lot of these people were having an experience because so they every time they would come and touch the door, a lot of them would get healed or something wonderful would happen in their own lives, right?
Yes. Um, I remember one day, my friend Maida, I was in the flea market business for for 10 years, and I met this family that was bigger than life. They Puerto Rican too, but they bigger. They got big family and everything. They It's so big that even the friends from Puerto Rico are over here too. Trust me. Um, that her mother was limping that day when she came to my house, and she was actually leaning against the bed praying, and she says, "Thank you for inviting us. You have a beautiful gift," she said to me, not knowing that when she was lived in Puerto Rico, she was a santera herself in Puerto Rico, a spiritista actually. So I was like, okay, not knowing that at the time. Um, they invited me to a birthday party one day. It was the first time in my life that I go to a birthday party, and it was in a club. And in the end of the dance, they put the palo the palo on,
Okay.
el baile del palo, que es
Okay.
santera, santería, baile de santería. And I never seen that before, and I was like, oh my god, where the heck am I? I didn't know better. I never grew up like that. So it was interesting to see that. I was like, this is fun. Beautiful dancing and everything. It was a beautiful dance. So now I went home and told
So
my
real
mother about
quick.
it. Mami, mira, Mayra, la familia de Mayra, they dance this way. And she says, okay. I was like, "Mm, they didn't do nothing bad." I was like, no, I just saw
You didn't
that
get
they
up there and
danced. It was
dance.
cool.
You didn't get up and dance the dance.
No,
Jenny
I
was saying.
didn't. So mom, they invited us for the second time to another party, and mommy came with me, and mommy saw how they danced. They was like, mommy never saw a thing like that either. Mommy grew up with in Puerto Rico, but it wasn't that kind of growing up. So she's like, this is interesting. So when we got invited for the third time to another party, my mother invited her sister that's really, really
Catholic.
Catholic. So she said to her, Mira, Carmen, no te quédate callada porque esta familia baila santería." So we, for me, but to be an ass, I decided to get up and dance too.
Yeah,
But I didn't know what I
chistosita
was
from
doing.
like
I just
gathering the
danced a
butt.
little bit to it because Kathy was next to me. Kathy's like, "You gonna dance?" I was like, "I don't know, but let's see if I can do this." But I didn't do nothing. I just moved my legs and that's it. Yeah.
So Jenny, so meanwhile, te está pasando todo esto. You're still dealing with the little boy that comes to your bedroom,
And
and you
kept
were
jumping in my bed, yes.
right. But why were you so afraid of him? Because you're already coming into your own about your mediumship and your gifts. You had already met. You already met the psychic. What's her name?
Jackie Joy. But
Jackie Joy. Yes, exactly.
Jackie
And
Joy, when
pero
I
todavía
cried to Jackie Joy that day at the psychic fair, Jackie Joy was telling people, I'm worried about this lady that came to me because she don't have nobody to
oh, so
help
she
her.
kept looking for you, right?
She
She
kept looking for
was
me
looking for you
as
to see
I
how you were
called her up
doing.
one day, 2 months
Yes,
later, and said to her, "Can I have another reading at your house?" She said, "Yes, I've been looking for you for the longest time."
she was
And I
concerned
said,
about
"Okay."
you.
So she told me, Jenny, by that time I was hearing things and I wasn't sure. And she said, Jenny, tell me something. And I told her, she said, you know, that's my grandfather. You talking, my
Yeah,
grandfather's
because you
talking to
said
you.
I remember you. So you started because you okay. So finally, when you accepted your gifts and you talked to her, right, and you felt a lot better about who you were, but you were still dealing with the little boy that was still scaring the hell out of you, right? You were dealing with the door changing, right? And not only
Yes.
that, you started seeing images on the walls, and not only that, you started hearing the voices in your head that wouldn't
Yes.
let you be, that were just talking and talking and
That's
talking.
another thing. This happened in 2007. My When my spirit guy started talking to me again. I mean, this is the first time my spirit talked to me completely well that I could hear them. I was what I don't know what happened to me. I was asking yes or no, like I always did. And for some reason, this time I could hear my spirit guys. I started writing prediction after predictions after predictions that made sure that I kept it to
Cause you
myself.
kept on, yeah, because they would talk to you, especially a lot in your dreams, right? And when you would wake up, I remember you in the book, you had a
Yes.
notepad where you would write down everything because that's how you started writing your prediction book, which we'll get to that in a second, right? Pero at this point, what I'm getting to is Are you still afraid of the little boy?
No, I'm not afraid of the little boy no more.
Did you ever
I'm
ask him
used
what
to
he
because
wanted?
one day
Because
he was jumping in my bed one time, and I was really tired. I just wanted to sleep. And when I felt them jumping, and I said, "Listen, I'm tired. I just want to sleep." And I heard him jumped in the floor and run off. I heard the shoes run off.
enough.
I'm like, the only thing I opened my eyes. I'm like, "Oh, cool," and I went back to sleep.
Does he still come? Does he still come and hang out once in a while?
Once in a while, he has come. Yes.
Okay, and and okay, so because that's the one thing que me quedé curioso. What I wanted to know is, did you ever ask him what he needed?
Not yet.
Not yet.
He hasn't come back like that since that day. And then I'm waiting for the moment to
Okay,
ask
so
him.
now you're ready for him. Now you're ready for
I
him.
think I am. I
Yeah.
think I am. Yes.
Because one of the things that I gathered from it, he was there to, he was trying to help you wake up your gifts, right? From what I gathered from the books.
He was trying to help me. Yes, the beginning of my journey, and he wanted to give me a message,
Yes,
but
a
I'm
message,
waiting for
right?
that message because he hasn't given it to me yet.
So what do you think spirits come and talk to us in our dreams? Because no
Be-
le pasa a
the
todos,
reason
¿verdad? Pero muchos
they
sí.
talk more in the dreams is because we're relaxing.
Okay.
We're more relaxed because in the daytime we're running around and stuff, and we're not listening. We're not doing. We're doing our own thing. But when we relax in our sleep state, that's when they say, "Okay, it's time to connect with them."
So it's the
It
same
was
thing like
not to scare
when
us.
we
It's
do
but
meditation,
because,
right?
huh?
It's similar like when you do meditation, you get to a very relaxed
Yes,
state where
yes,
you could receive the
exactly.
messages, right?
That's what we say. Do meditation because that's the moment they gonna connect with you.
So then, okay, so around the time that you started doing all of this, so just because ahorita se me vino one of the questions that I had here as sketches was when you're going through all of this, right? Because I know a lot of people believe that, I mean, and I know you believe that spirituality is something not to play with, right? And a lot of people are afraid or think that playing with instruments or tools that we call them serían Ouija boards, serían cartas, objetos los
No,
picos.
I don't think that cartas have nothing to do with this. Cartas, everybody got curious and read the reading cards and angel cards or whatever. The thing that people don't understand is if you don't know what to do and work with it, don't play with it
Don't play with it.
because
Yeah,
you don't know what you're going to open. You don't know what's
exactly.
going to happen at that moment. Um, Everybody think that playing with the Ouija board is fun. Okay, it's fun when you know what you're doing, but it's not fun when you don't know what you're doing and something comes through. Then what's going to happen is you open a portal that's going to scare the crap out of you guys.
Yeah,
Okay, you have to be careful. And I don't know why they sell it in the toy stores. That's not a
yeah, we
toy
gotta
to
be
play
careful.
with.
Yes.
That's not a toy
So,
to play with at all.
do you think that obviously a ti te siguió? All of this was following you because if it would have happened at Mr. Broderick's house, or if it would have happened at the house that your brother and your mom got together, the split home, or it happened where you're at now, this esto was gonna happen to you, right? It was,
Yes, because since I was in high school, I used to dream a lot about when the cars go in the river with kids and the
yes,
parents drive into the river. I used to dream a lot with those, and I felt like I was inside um in the kids' car too, watching them as I'm drowning myself in the car with them. So I'm experiencing everything they experience. I even seen bridges falling, and I just thought it was dreams, never
and now
thinking
you know that a lot of those dreams were
predictions.
the predictions, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I just wanted to clarify that whole thing about spirituality and what people think about the whole opening the portals and stuff
It's
like
a
that.
thing
'Cause
that called table tipping. It's
okay.
called table tipping. It's like putting your fingers on the table and letting the table tip when you ask questions because the spirits come in. I went to that place with a friend of mine to see how it worked. I didn't touch the table at all. I said I felt like I'm not supposed to, and for my protection I said I sit back and I would just watch because something I didn't want to participate in. It's like it's like playing with the Ouija board, but the thing is, it's a little table. You put your fingers on and say, "Okay, let me ask a question," and the table tips.
Jenny, and your mom, obviously, because she had her own gifts, right? Did she support you a lot throughout your whole experience with
Mommy
family?
didn't have gifts. Mommy was a nervous person, completely nervous. Mommy accepted me for who I was after I saw the sun change and the sun became have a lot of auras coming through the sun. That's when I saw the Jesus Christ come out of the sun. And at that time I came home to cry too because I didn't know who to turn to
So now
tell
that
somebody.
you had that one experience with the moon too, right? Where you saw the moon
The
on the
moon,
floor.
uh, the moon was big. The moon, I was going to babysit that day to my aunt's house. And my aunt's house lived in the exit 8 at that time. But I took the long way. I didn't go through the highway. I took the long way through Main Street. By the time I got to my aunt's house, I could see the moon, orange moon. It was big, big orange moon, but I could feel like I could walk towards the moon because it was down on the street. It was level to level. And I was like, wait a minute. And I'm over here driving and looking around to people's cars to see if they acknowledge the moon themselves. I put the radio on thinking they're going to talk about the moon. Nobody talked about the moon. I looked at the newspaper. Nobody talked about the moon. I put the TV news on. Nobody talked about the moon. I went and told my brother about it. All these years, I said, "Look, the moon is in this floor on the ground, and he's like in like right there, right there." And I could walk to it. I could see the outline of everything. I was like, "How this is possible?" I don't know if it was spiritual or not, but it was amazing.
To be able to have that experience, right? Yo creo que, pues, obviously, the spirit's been trying to communicate with you for years and years, but I think that
Yes.
all the traumas that your family lived through and that you experienced with your own family, and I think in part, también, when you guys, because I know that when the home mental illness started coming out in the family, you guys were very concerned about that too, because you guys are a big family that loved each other, was always supporting each other, and then at the same time you're dealing with a lot of paranormal experiences. The doors are opening up, people are playing with their hair, with their earrings, and then you're starting to hear the voices, right, in your head. You're meeting a psychic that's helping you. You're searching, you're doing the metaphysical store, shop, and then llegas a
I
un punto
started buying
donde
books all over the place by mediums, psychics everywhere. I started reading um Ed, John Edwards.
did you ever feel
John
you were going
Edwards.
crazy?
Huh?
Did you ever feel you were going crazy?
Yes.
Because that's
Yes.
something I've had where I feel like I'm
After
going
I
crazy.
heard my spirit guides talking to me and everything, I said, "Okay, I'm schizophrenic. I don't know what to do." And the only thing I hear him they saying to me, "No, you're not schizophrenic. You're not crazy, Jenny." And the more I cried, because I didn't know what to do. And then I says, "Oh, then yo vi a Jesucristo. I saw Jesus Christ. I'm gonna become a nun because I mean." And they're like, "No, Jenny, you're not become a nun. We don't need Papa Dios don't want you to become a nun. Jesucristo don't want you to become a nun." I was like, okay. So that's when they told me, "Get up, go to church." And I went to church, and that's when I saw one La Virgen Guadalupana and all the angels.
Right. So
That was
this is already cuando también you're having this prediction, you're having these prediction dreams. So that was right after, right before
the
when
predictions
you were
about the cars and stuff was before that
no
I
digo
didn't
the
even
ones
know.
like the ones like the Red Sox winning the pendant. I see it, those type of dreams. Those,
That year when the Red Sox won, they told me the year before.
okay, okay.
Yes.
So at the same time you're está pasando lo de la puerta. the
Yes.
doors changing. You have all these people coming to the house almost every day to touch the door, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
they found, and a lot of them, like I said, were good things were happening to them. Se estaban
Yes.
curando, or their problems were getting fixed, right? And at the same time, you're starting to see stuff on the walls of your house now. You're seeing
Yeah, I
the
started
crosses,
seeing. Yeah,
las cruces, ¿verdad?
and
And
then I ended up seeing uh behind. I was cleaning my house. I had the powerful of cleaning my house. I was throwing things out of my house. I had so much power of throwing things out of my house. I didn't understand why. Luckily, my bed was heavy to throw out, but I threw almost everything out. And that day I was mopping my floor, but for some reason, what my recollection is that I had my bathroom sink, my tub running, and the kitchen sink running, the water running. And I went to mop the back of my door when I saw a handprint on my wall. And it's the handprint. In the middle of the handprint was the Virgencita, the Virgin Mary. And I couldn't believe it. So I opened the door and I saw two ladies that lives in my floor. And I said, "Can you guys come?" One lady I didn't know. I didn't know that lady at all from squad. I only knew one that I talked to before. And I said, "Can you guys come over here? Can you guys come over here?" She said, "Okay." They walked in my bedroom. I said, "I need to show you this." They both saw the hand. And they saw the Virgin Mary in the middle. But one of the ladies happened to go towards the hand and put her hand on, not that on the wall, but like close to the wall. At that moment, when she put her hand back, it was gone. She says, "It's gone." I said, "Like, it was meant for you." That's what I said to her. But months later, I went to say thank you to her to what happened that day. And she said, "Do you remember what I told you?" And I says, "What do you mean told me?" She said, "You talked to me that day."
because you started
I said,
having like these, you started having like these trance experience. What do you call those? Where you
It
black
was like
out
a
and you,
Twilight Zone. It was like a Twilight Zone.
yeah,
I didn't know what was happening. I was like here and there, here and there.
yeah.
And she said, "Jenny, you don't remember what I told you that day I was leaving your apartment?" And I said, "No, I don't remember. I don't remember half of the stuff." She said, "Jenny, you told me they told you to do it. They told you to do it." And I was like, because I says, "What do you mean they told me to do it?" I says, "Because I told you, can I turn off the faucet in the bathroom? Because it was running too much." And I said to her, "No, because they told me to do it." Not knowing what I said to her, I didn't remember what I said to her. Um, find out later was because my spirit guide told me to do it.
Mm.
That year, I lost track of time. I lost. I felt like I was in Twilight Zone.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
because I was, because I could just imagine all the stuff you're going through and then having to experience now this part where like you're actually like skipping time. Like un día estás, you're like right here talking to somebody that you're blacking out and you're saying all these things and then you come back and you think hours went by. They're telling you no, it's only been a minute. And you're like, well, what happened in
yes,
that minute? And
yes,
they're like, well, you
yes.
started telling us all kinds of
Yes,
stuff.
that happened to me. I was one point I was walking in Main Street and I kept crying because I felt like they took my brain away and I was in heaven or something and they kidnapped my brain. That's what I felt because I kept seeing. Anybody have seen the Halloween movie that Michael Myers was killing the sister and the mask that he was wearing you could see through the mask
Yeah, you could have. So it's like,
in the movie. You could see the
yeah,
mask in the movie. For me, I was doing, I was seeing, but through my own eyes. It was like somebody was in my eyes, but I could see through somebody else's eyes. I don't know, and I felt the Espíritu Santo inside me, the Holy Spirit inside me. Mommy said, "No, that was Mommy said that was the Holy Spirit." I said, "Mommy, no, that was Jesus Christ inside me." I felt he was inside me. Since that day I saw him for the first time, that he came out of the sun, I felt it was me. It was for me. I needed that from, and she's like, Jenny, Espíritu Santo, the Holy Spirit is inside you. I said, no, mommy, it's not. It was Jesucristo inside me. And I kept repeating it. So when I went to my friend Mayra, I said, Mayra, something's wrong with me. Something's wrong with me. And she said, Jenny, go to mommy. Go to her mom. And that's when she helped me. She did she cleansed me. She's like doing cleansing me and depujándome,
Yeah.
right? And moving her hand over my hand. She said, Jenny, es fuego de Espíritu Santo que está contigo. Es fuego de Espíritu Santo. Don't worry. Nothing's wrong with you. And I kept crying. I kept
And,
crying. And my friend, then something came over me that I ended up changing again, and I became me again by September. This happened all in August.
cause yeah, cause then
I
by
don't
then
remember if I ate
you
that
started
year or
finding.
not.
Yeah, but then when all this experience, when this started happening to you, and you met la mamá de, I'm sorry, what was your friend again?
Mayra.
Mayra. Um, you started finding consolidation in yourself and in your dreams that okay, this is who I am. If this is what I'm gonna do, okay, then tell me what do I need to do, right?
The, after I went through all that and everything, I came home and I sat in the living room and I looked at the picture of Jesus Christ and I says, if you, this is what you want me to do, help me understand it. Help me understand my journey. Help me uh, give me clarity on what I need to do. So I went back to the metaphysical group, and that's when met Doran.
And this is where we're start getting already to where we end up meeting you también. Because I mean one of the things that I love about your book and I'm picking up and I'm almost finished, but I couldn't finish it before the interview was that all these experiences, especially starting with the other family members that you lost at the beginning, because one of the things that to me was just I was reading all the names at the beginning. It didn't make sense to like you started talking about where you started searching, right? When your grandmother started telling you that none of más eran is you. You guys have come from generations of a family that was able to do this, but it skipped the generation, especially with your mom Nelly, right? And then, but before that, but and
The
then
thing is that I seen spirit going to people's house and people's built a spirit and went into one of my uncle's ex-wife. She became
possessed.
possessed by it.
Okay.
Yeah. And I remember that because I was in the living room when in the hallway. I was little. It was a wedding in New York, and somebody asked me, Jenny, who went into my bedroom? I said, nobody went to your bedroom. Nobody has been around us. And my aunt being nosy, one of my aunt's sister-in-law being nosy, she said, let me go in. And she pushed the door. The door went open and closed behind her. And when she came out, she was already possessed.
And
Yeah.
that's when you were young. That's when
I
estabas
was
chico.
young. I saw that. I saw that. They sent us to the living room to get away from everything. And I saw that, yes.
So one of the other stories, and if I'm correct, I heard this one when we've been on your lives, and I wanted to because I think it's such a funny story. Well, not funny story, but I think it's a cute story about when you were engaged in college.
I was in yes, I went to Maine. I'm in Maine, Bangor, Maine. I went to college for 2 years to business. I got a certificate for business because I love business. That's one thing about me. I love doing business. My dream is having my own business one day, my own
You
store.
you already made your dream come true. Well, half of it because you have your own business already.
Yeah, I know that, but my really dream is having the store. That's what I really want in me. I had my business also a couple of years ago when I was in the flea market business for
You
10 years
always been an
straight.
entrepreneur, huh? You're always doing something. You always
Yeah,
do.
I always am. And I was I went to Job Corps for business, and I met there a man, a boy, a guy. His name was Ricardo también. if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember call his name either because it's been years. And and yeah, okay. That's wait a minute. Let me get back to that one. And he asked me to get married, and I said yeah. And but the thing is, people around me was acting strangely, but
Yes.
I didn't realize why until later on. And I ended up stopping and until when I got engaged with him. He had to go back to the dorms because he only had certain time of break from school, but I didn't have more time. So somehow I got his sister's number, and then I found the truth out that he was gay. I went back to school and I confronted him. I says, "Are you using me
Oh my
to
God.
cover up that you're gay in school?" He didn't say yes or no. He actually went to the RN's teachers that keep an eye on us and said I was harassing him. But I was there longer than him. They believed me. He left school, and that's when everybody from school started telling me that he was gay. I said, "Why didn't you tell me before I got engaged?" And made a fool of myself. After that, I dated here and there and stuff, but never to a point to
So
get married
you
to
never been
anybody yet.
married? You never had children?
No, I never been married. I never had children. Um, I yeah, I had boyfriends here and there, but didn't last long.
Maybe because
Mommy
your
used to
kid.
tell me, I give it to 25 to get married. Then she said, I give it to 35. And then she gave me 45 and she gave up.
Well, maybe there's a reason for that because your gifts were meant for you to help others heal and stuff and find their way. Because I think I see so many great things coming your way. I think this is just the beginning of everything you've created. You're definitely gonna have your little shop that you want, with all the stuff that you like to make, and a space where you could have and people could come and get medium readings for you. I see your books starting to sell more, because you're ready. You're on the besides. I mean, I don't want to jump all over the place, but after that, when you started going through all the predictions, you started seeing the walls in the door. You met Dorian and todo. You started writing the second book, right? The prediction one.
During one time, I was writing my second book and my third book at the time. But Dory kept telling me, Jenny, you're going to be writing a small book. That kept on going over my head. It was going over my head. I wasn't listening. She kept saying it for more than 5, 6 years. My brother kept telling me, Jenny, write a small book. My brother can even tell me the same thing. Everybody was telling me, Jenny, your predictions are coming out. Why you don't write a small book? It wasn't paying. I wasn't paying any mind to it until I went to take my friend Maida to the supermarket to because she needed to get some stuff, and I says, okay, I'll wait in the car. Well, by the time we got to the supermarket, I told Maida, Maida, some of the predictions I've been seeing are coming out. So we left it as that. When she came out of the supermarket, she said, Jenny, why you don't write the book? You know the little books that they have in the supermarket. They have little books. Why you don't write a little small book like that? And I was like, aha moment. And I went and I was like, okay. And it clicked on me. I'm like, I should write a small book. And I went to tell my brother about it. I says, hey, I'm thinking of writing a small book because Maida told me about it. I said, I've been telling you, it had to be a stranger that comes around and tell you things, and you listen to the stranger, but you don't listen to us. So I decided to ask
It
him,
always
can
happens
you
that way,
help?
right?
I was so confused in how to do the second book. I left the second book out, and I said, "Let me stop that book and make the second book." That's the for the record. But I didn't know what to name it, so I called my brother. Says, "Can you help me name the book?" And he gave me that name. I was like, to this day I have a hard time remembering the whole name. That's for the record. For the record, a collection of predictions in my interpretation. And I was like, okay. And that prediction of Darwin telling me that I'm going to write a small book came true because it's a small book. And then I continued writing my third book. That was the one that I cut out some of the pages that I had to put in my fourth book because I had to put out some pages on my of family members that passed away also there.
So, what would be a good technique we could people could do if they want to manifest, you know, by writing a book or having their own shop or anything that could.
Don't
What would,
quit. Don't quit. If you see yourself hitting a wall, keep going. Break the wall. Um, I was going to stop writing the book. I was going to stop because I couldn't find a publisher. But you know why? The publishers, they have a book of a list of publishers, but you have to find a specific publisher that goes with what you have and what you're writing, right? It's not all not everybody, not every publisher accept books like that. Okay, so I spent more than $100, $200, $300 sending papers out with with a book on note about this long, telling them what the book is about, just to get a little paper this big, a little paper this big, saying no, thank you. They didn't take time to say, okay, no, this is this, and I was getting frustrated. I like, what is going on? And then one day, my phone rang, and it was a publisher, and she says to me, Jenny, I want to talk to you. I says, yeah. I says, this book is not for me to write or to help you with it, but I want you to read. I want to read it when you're done because this book is going to be amazing for a lot of people that needs help. That's the moment that I broke the wall down and continued to write. And that's when I found a YouTube channel. If you don't know how to find something and you don't know what to do, look, whoever finds the owner of YouTube, tell them I'm looking for them. I want to hug them. Okay, I want to kiss them and everything because they helped me so much. Because that's the moment I found a video that said it's not the editor publisher that's supposed to find editor for you. You're supposed to find the editor first. So I started looking for an editor, and trust me, editors don't cost $400. It's over $1,000. For me, it was hard, but I did it. Okay, I did. I paid $1,000 for the editor for my first book. I paid for it, and I asked him after he finished, and I finished everything that he corrected. I said to him, "Can you please tell me what publisher can help me with this book?" He says, "Jenny, nowadays self-publish is how people going." So I looked for information how to do self-publish, and you make sure the font of the word is number 12. Time timeline, I think it's timeline or time writer or something like that. It has to be the perfect time to make sure it looks great, and
Mhm.
a size 6 by 9 book. Or if you want to make it a little bit bigger, it's up to you.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's the size of the words.
So after the editor gave it back to you, did you have to retype the whole book all over?
No, only the parts that it was mistakes.
Okay, the stuff
Only
that
the
he had
parts
to
that was
change.
mistakes. Yes. And then I started writing my second book. That was for the record. And at that time, I heard my spirit guide says to me, "Do candles." So I started doing candles. I listened to them. I was like, "I don't got no money to buy candles, but let's buy it, okay?" So I went to Michael's and bought some candles, and I bought the candles and stuff. I mean the wax, okay, to do candles. And I decided to go to. I found out about craft fairs, but at first, before I went to the craft fair, I went to the flea market business. But this flea market was outside. I
Okay.
learned. I had to learn the hard way that the candles don't like the sun. Okay, so I learned the hard way.
That's so funny.
Okay. So when I did that, I promised myself not to go outside never again and go inside the buildings from now on. So I kept doing candles and stuff. And then that's when my niece started doing the bath bombs. And I decided to, she said, Titi, I'm not going to do the bath bombs anymore, but and the soaps. I said, well, give me the soaps and I continue to do it. And that's why I kept doing it. And then recently they kept telling me do the rosaries. So I started with the rosaries. I was like, wait a minute, where the money's gonna come from? I don't have enough money to do this. But it was coming, it was coming.
Yeah.
Somehow I I was like, okay, let's go do this. And then my brother, to help me out, he came to one of my craft fairs and saw, I said, Jenny, you need to do it more orderized because you acted like this is a flea market business. You have to put it in order. So he ended up spending $500 out of his money and went to the wholesaler that I buy the wax from and bought enough wax and jars and wicks and stuff and helped me to get organized more because I was trying to get together here, and that's when I realized that if you want to do something in life, keep looking for information, keep for ideas. Don't quit because quitting it don't get you anywhere. Yes, it get frustrating, but in the end, you're the one that's going to be happy. You're the one that's going to be glowing because you can do it on your own. Nobody's going to help you. Nobody's going to say, okay, here. Not everybody's going to give you $500 to help you with something. Okay. That day, I was so happy. And then I started buying shelves and everything. And I make sure the candle can be raised up for people to see it better. And that's when
Okay.
I started doing the Fruit Loop candles. And it was a big seller. And I was like, okay, let me keep doing and then I
Fruit
started doing the rosaries and stuff.
So
Yeah.
before I open up the questions down to anybody listening to us for the last we've been on it almost for 2 hours. Um, where can they find you? Okay, for first of all, so you're an author, Jennie Ortiz. You're also a psychic medium,
And
right?
Empath.
An empath. You still, and when you mean medium, you connect with spirit and you give direct messages to the person coming to you, right?
Yes.
And from what I keep on gathering, the way you work is you rather them not tell you any information.
The reason I don't let people ask me questions is because I feel like I'm sabotaging my own self. Because if I let you ask me something, I feel like I'm going to tell you the same thing you told me, and I feel like I'm not doing anything. It's not fair if you're going to get read by somebody. It's not fair that the person you already told the story about your mother, your father, your grandfather, your uncle, the numbers and everything. I don't ask numbers. I don't go by that. I let my spirit guides tell me the information and everything, and then I tell you everything. And if in the end of the session you want to ask me something, you can.
Okay.
But in the always 99% of the time, nobody have any questions because I sold them everything.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's how I work.
Okay. And then you also have your jewelry line that you're working on.
Yes, I have my rosaries and my bracelets. I decided to use crystal beads. I don't know why I decided to do that. I ended up doing that. And the reason I did the rosaries was when I was in the flea market business, mommy helped me do the rosaries at one point. And it was a guy came in and told my mom and my mom was there that day, can I buy all the rosaries that you have hanging? Back then I wasn't using crystal balls or crystals in it, amethyst or stuff like that. And he asked us to sign our autograph because he says one day when he dies, he wants to donate the rosaries to the museum. So mommy signed her name down because she's the one that did most of the work. And I never forget that.
That's so
Yeah.
interesting. So yeah, before we open up the panel, so whoever wants to come up to the live and join us and ask Jenny questions, or if anybody wants to ask Jenny any questions down here in the comments, where can we find you, Jenny? And what social media platforms can we find you if we want to book an appointment with you if we want to buy your book, if you want to buy your jewelry.
Okay, my book, you can find me author Jennie Ortiz on Facebook or WhatsApp or here in TikTok. I also have Instagram, but Instagram has two or three of my name because it was my fault because I didn't know how to take it off. So look for the last video of TikTok and you will find the same one in Instagram. That's when you know that it's the same one. Um, yeah. And also off of Jenny Ortiz Facebook is because that one is for TikTok people. My Facebook regular is because my family's there. None of my family. I don't talk about my spiritual journey with my family. Only my brother. Okay, and also you can find my YouTube channel author Jenny Ortiz for meditation or any or the candle that I be talking about or tongue drum also, and my jewelry, my rosary, my bracelets, and my candles are in Etsy.
Let's see. Let's see. And right now, I'll look up the information. So as we continue to talk, we could. Or is it also linked to your Facebook? Or is Etsy linked to your Facebook or any of your other social medias?
Um, I don't know how to do. I don't know how to put TikTok towards off of Jenny Ortiz Facebook, but I would
Yes.
say I really tell them to go over there. My books are in Amazon. My books are in Amazon. I usually have them in Etsy, but I ran out, and I know people wants me to sign them. But as soon as I buy them, cause okay, right now I can't because I'm trying to get my car first and my computer. But as soon as I can get my books in person, I will let you all know, and that way I sign it and send it out.
So that's another thing I was gonna mention, and thank you for reminding me, Mike. Because we know that you are, you're looking for that car that's gonna help you, so you could get to the psychic fairs, so you can go to, hustle and make your little money. So one day you could open up your own brick and mortar, and get yourself a little computer. Anybody that would like to give Jenny any donation that counts, anything that wants to help her achieve her goals, her having a car or a little computer, you guys can go to your Cash App, or where can we
Yeah,
donate
Cash App.
Cash App, and then we'll get you
Yeah.
guys the link for the Cash App shortly, you guys. But if there's anything, is it linked to your profile right now, your Cash App, or todavía
No,
no?
it's not. It's not linked to my profile. No,
Okay,
it's
so we
not.
gotta link it for you, right?
Yeah.
But yes, anything counts, you guys. If you want to buy the jewelry, that counts too. If you just want to donate, that's even more wonderful. There you go, Cash App, $ Jen is Jen's Cash App. There you go. Thank you, Mike. Thank you. There you go. Thank you, Wilma. Um, and okay, so social media, everything we got that covered. We got covered. Anything works, you guys. Please, she would really appreciate it because once Jenny gets that little carrito and she's on a broom 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 all over the place, there ain't gonna be no stopping her. I can see it. You're gonna have your little shop. You're gonna have all your dreams are gonna come true, Jenny. All your dreams.
Amen. Amen.
Amen. Amen, ¿verdad? Primeramente Dios, pero amen. So if anybody want to come to the panel and ask Jenny questions, if you could go live, or is there any questions for author Jenny Ortiz? She's gonna come and visit us all.
Hey, you
Yes, she
never
is.
know. We might go. Yeah, you never know.
Thank you, Mama. Blessings for Jenny, of course. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. Once the card comes in, she's gonna be visiting all of us all over town, and so it is. Yes, Shuriken. So you have a very interesting story, Jenny. I mean, it was, there you go. I haven't finished reading the book, but it's very interesting. Everything that you've gone through, all the stuff that you've experienced. I mean, because my gifts open very different. I didn't. I've had crazy experiences, because I could definitely have some. Pero thank you, Priscilla. Ricardo says he's
Thank
gonna
you for
visit
being here,
everybody.
everybody, for listening to my story. Thank you so much.
Yes, if you guys want to come up, like I know some of you guys could go live. You guys could let me see. If you guys want to come up, I just wanted to make sure that we gave Jenny full attention for the first couple of hours. But everybody's interesting. Everybody's interesting. Everybody is more than welcome to come up now. Or thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was trying to, there's a lot of information in there, Jenny, in the book.
I
Thank you,
mean,
Jenny.
it is very interesting because after my mom died, I was going to stop. I was going to stop writing. I was going to stop reading people. I was going to stop everything. And I, my brother told me not to stop because mommy wouldn't want me to stop. My sister-in-law, Arlene, said the same thing to me. So yeah. Hey, what's up?
Hello, Jenny.
Hi,
I was
hi,
watching it too. I
Carmen.
liked it. It was good.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hey, Jenny, te iba a preguntar, talking about, since we're talking about you being a medium, so, ¿cómo le haces tú to shield yourself from too many spirits wanting to talk to you at once? How do you shield yourself to stop the overflow?
So I believe I don't do so much at all.
Mm,
I ask God to protect me and guide me,
mm-hmm,
and I ask Archangel Michael to protect me. I have experience of spirit come and attach to me once, and my friend's mom, that was a medium herself, helped me get rid of it because I didn't know what was happening to me, and that's because I
mm-hmm,
turned a candle on, of Saint Anthony. It was brown, and I got attachment to me, and I couldn't stop smelling so bad. I took bath after bath, and I was like, "What's going on?" And I went to tell my sister-in-law. I was like, "Leah, smell me because I smell bad." So I went to my friend Evelyn, and I said, "Evelyn, smell me." And she's like, "What the heck?" I said, "Please smell me. Something's wrong. I took bath after bath, and I smell bad." She
mm-hmm,
felt it at that moment. She said, Jenny, something's up. She called her mother. Her mother says she got an attachment. So
mm-hmm,
that moment, she said, take that candle out of your room, turn it off, and throw it out. And it wasn't that the candle was doing bad, was because my light was so big that the spirit wanted to connect with me, but he didn't know how to. So that's
mm-hmm,
what happened.
mm.
So one
But
of the things,
otherwise, my spirit guides will help guide me and tell me if something's going to happen or something.
Go ahead, Eric.
oh no, que iba a decir, because I noticed this, and I think it's a repetitive pattern that a lot of us that are mediums or psychics, right, that we do is we always tend to help others instead of we helping ourselves with doing stuff for ourselves, you know. And I noticed that you're a very kind person like that, Jenny. You always do that, but how can we learn? How can we teach each other? Because it's easier said than done, right?
Listen, to help each other out is to connect, to love each other, to understand each other, to help each other, guide each other. If you don't understand one thing, go to one of us and say, "Hey, this is happening to me. Help me out because I don't know what to do." This don't come with papers. I keep saying, this don't come with papers. This come with no instructions at all. The more I understood by learning, by going to classes, if you know any spiritual metaphysical place to go to, you can, and they can help you there. It's a lot of turmoil that you can go through because you go through a lot of turmoil having this gift. It's not a gift that you be like, "Oh, this is so much fun." You still get scared too sometimes. We are human. I mean, you be doing whatever you be doing, and you're minding your own business, and suddenly something pops up in your face, and you be like, ah, I mean, it does happen. So, with that said, always have someone to talk to. Don't keep it to yourself. You will get sick if you do. You will get
Mm-hmm,
mentally disturbed because you're afraid and nobody's there to guide you and help you. This is when I opened my TikTok. It wasn't to talk about this. It was talking about my books, and it went a different direction. But it kept going, and I was like, you know what? Let me keep helping. Let me And Doran told me. I was like, Jenny, this is to help people. And I was like, okay. And I wasn't telling everybody, oh, I got 1,000 followers already. It was Doran that was telling everybody what I was doing. And everybody started following me from everywhere I can find. But I have to say is stay focused. Don't play with things that you don't know. Okay? If your spirit guide tells you, listen, do this, so listen to them. But
Hmm.
first, make sure those are your spirit guides. If they tell you their name and where they come from, they're your spirit guides. Okay?
But not
And
everybody has. Pero Jenny, does everybody have spirit guides? ¿O cómo trabaja
yes,
eso?
everybody do have spirit guides.
Mhm.
Not everybody's gonna hear when you want it to hear them. It comes when they want to come, but you have to give
Mm.
them permission.
Mm.
You have to ask permission to the angels to come because the angels are there to help you. But if
Mhm.
you don't ask the angels to help you, they're not gonna interrupt you because they know that you have to live a normal life.
Mhm.
All
And
right.
how does one connect with their spirit guide and their guardian angel?
Me, I was just doing my plenum that day when I
Mhm.
started hearing my spirit guide talk to me. And I let go of the plenum and I started saying, okay, is my name Jennie Ortiz? And I kept hearing yes or no, and I kept going there. And that's when they started. When I heard somebody tell me, write everything they tell you. When
Mhm.
you hear your spirit guide, sit down and let them tell you everything. It could be a message for you only, right? For me, it was
Mhm.
all predictions from the moment I started in 2007 all the way to now. Okay, and I've named a lot of people that I've been meeting through the years. Wilma, Sonia, a few others I named, and I never said nothing about it. It's like, whoa, wait a minute, this is coming true.
What about Light
And
Warrior?
it
What about
it
it?
was a miracle. And then when they tell me, look at the wall, I wrote it down in my book. Look at the wall. And I was like, why would I going to look at the wall? But then I understand that I see things from the wall. The walls come alive to me, and I could see the other side of heaven. I could see the images.
Mike said you didn't
Mike,
mention him.
I mentioned you, but I thought it was Mike from my brother's friend, Mike. But he mentioned your name, so I thought it was Mike from my Mike, the one I grew up with. You know, it was a lot of people that they named that I come across and everything. I named Doran. Never thought that Doran would be my mentor in this lifetime, and she was there for me from the get go.
What a beautiful relationship, friendship that was, right? You meeting her.
Yeah, when I met her, we were in class. A friend of ours, Pam's, invited me to because I went to Pam and the metaphysical group at the store, and I says, Pam, I need help. I don't know what to turn to. I don't know what's going on with me. This is happening. And she said, okay, Jenny, I have a group of people that goes to my house on Fridays. You can go over there. We meet each other. And that day, Dorian was there, and they started talking about healing hands. And I was like, healing hands. And after the class was finished, Dorian was outside, and I said, "Excuse me, Dorian, I need to ask you a question. What is healing hands?" She said, "Reiki." And she says, "If you want, I teach you. You help me babysit my grandson, that now he's 22 years old. No, 32 years old. No, 22. Sorry, 22 years old, and he was just a baby when I met her, and she's 22 years later, and she taught me Reiki. She taught me spiritual things I never thought of walking into, and she took me to places that has spiritual place like the monks that you never think of seeing in person, and walking into their own area where they do prayers and stuff.
Wow.
So yeah.
So, one of the things I keep on hearing you saying, you're always mentioning that these are gifts that God gave you, and you don't like to, um, you know, charge people for doing the service, especially
The
when you're
first
here on
time,
the.
the first time, okay, the first time I started reading people in my personal life, I never asked anybody for money. Mommy is the one that told me, Jenny. She sat down with me and said, Jenny, God gave you this gift, but you're not rich. You need to buy your candles. You need to buy your things that you need. At least ask for donations. So I said, okay. So that day, my nephew happened to come from school, and out of nowhere, he sat down with me and said, Titi Jenny, Auntie Jenny, let me talk to you. I said, what happened? He says, why you don't ask for money? I said, were you listening to what mommy was just saying a few seconds ago? He says, no, I just walked to the door. I said, he asked me the same thing. So Doran is the one that took me to the psychic fair for the first time. And there we the people ask for the money and whatever, and then we go half and half on it. And then when I do the readings, I started doing reading because Doran sent me people to me, and they asked me how much. And my spirit guys, the first thing my spirit guy said was $30. And I says, what do you mean 30? He says, ask for 30. I says, okay. But in my mind, thinking that I would be asking people in TikTok for money because that was not me. I feel uncomfortable doing that. I feel
Well,
like
the
I
reason why
feel
I say that is
bad.
because, well, don't feel bad, Jen. It's because you have to believe in the exchange of energy, And sometimes I see you there, and you're reading people, and some people you're taking 20, 30 minutes of your time, not your time in that way, but you're giving them these messages, and even if it's just $5 per reading, it's a little donation que te pueden dar que te puede ayudar for your car and could also help you out. So I think that should be definitely a move. You see, even Lotus is saying absolutely. I think that should be your next move is, because enough is enough. People know who you are. You have a big following, right? Let's see who are the people, and not because we want to see who are the people that really love and truly believe in your gift, but not only that, because of the exchange of energy. I think is very important for you because it helps you. It's gonna help transform the your energy around para que you could keep moving and moving and moving. It's just to see that even if it's $5 here, $5 there, but I think that
Mm,
you need to cut down on doing all the free services that you do because I think it's pulling too much of your own personal energy. Yeah, Sansista agrees. Wilma
mm-hmm.
agrees. May agrees. Aunque sea
Yeah,
poquito.
mommy always told me, Jenny, pregunta, and every time somebody asked Doran to read them, Doran said, no, no, let Jenny read. I said, well, they're not asking me, they're asking you. And that's how I became more a reader because of that reason. And yeah, I mean, I do ask for 30 when I saw behind TikTok and stuff, but I never done any TikTok. I mean,
Well, when you next time you do your live, what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to figure out so you link your Cash App to your live. So if they want to read it, because you could sit there, you could talk about everything, and people are still gonna come and listen to you, right? Pero si quieren un little reading, a little message, aunque sea $5, hey, here's my Cash App link, boom, and like that you could definitely you have that exchange of energy. I think is going to help you a lot. Not only that, because in the exchange of energy, from what I keep on reading, and especially in the law of the universe, or the law of one, or one of those books or something. When they exchange, they llega más. When you just give, and people don't appreciate the message because they're not paying for it, they go and they jump and they go with somebody else to get another message, and they're just going and going and going. So a lot of the beautiful,
I know
um,
sometimes that some people cannot pay. Thank you, whoever donated this. Thank you so much. God bless you.
thank you guys.
God bless you. Um, some people don't have the money, and I know that it's harsh times sometimes. And if they only if whatever donate they can do, hey, I'm not going to say you better give me the money extra because I'm not. If you don't have the money that moment,
Mm-hmm.
hey, pay it forward.
Pay it
Pay it
forward.
forward.
Pay it forward. Yeah, yeah.
That's
You
the
know,
Well,
this
that
is
number one thing I always do. Pay it forward because
well, that's
God
what they call
knows
donations.
that whatever you're doing in life is going to help others. And if you give your light, a little bit of light of you to others, big things come your way.
even if it's $1, si se puede, porque si pueden ir a comprarse the little beer, the little cigarettes,
The little
you know,
chips.
the chips, the ice cream. Hey, and they
Yeah.
want to know message from spirit, $2, $3, $5, pero and it's just how does TikTok work with the gift sending? So when every time you send or when you send a gift, so with the gift, digamos, si the gift te cuesta $1, a Jenny le mandan 50 cents of the dollar. So
Yeah,
so say if you send her 20 roses, they're each a penny, I think. So she gets 10 pennies out of it, or 10 diamonds is what they call it. And then she could
Mm.
also convert the gifts, like the little flowers, the hearts, the hand hearts. She can convert that also to cash, or you could use it to pay it forward and give other people gifts también. Pero sometimes when I've gotten like a nice little amount, los junto and then I cash it out
yeah,
through PayPal. So yeah.
yeah. When Sonia read my book, she found out that I was going to quit for when my mom died. I didn't want to do this no more.
Oh, is that what she was
Um,
mentioning earlier when she was talking
yes,
about
she was
okay.
mentioning that earlier, but I have to say that she thanked my brother. She talked to my brother and thanked him for talking to me and not letting me quit. Because that's the way she met me and everything else. And I want to what it means when you hear voice, but they are negative. So if you hear negative things, you gotta ask God to give you a upper hand. Protect yourself with the white light, because you know why? There is um angels that like makeshift. They like to do trouble. Okay, they do trouble. There are people that dies and they don't cross over completely sometimes because they didn't know they died, or just afraid to crossing over because they were doing something they weren't supposed to when they were alive, not thinking that God's gonna forgive them no matter what.
Okay.
Okay, you gotta make sure that you be
Something kind of
strong enough.
become like something could become like Portuguese, huh?
Yes, they can do poltergeist, but you know what? This is what you wrote. If you are going to experience that, it's because you wrote it before you were born.
Yes.
You
Okay.
made a
Yes. I heard
promise to
about that.
God that you have to go through that experience to learn more. Okay, not everybody go through that experience. It's like when I hit the lottery one time. I was in ninth grade and I won all four numbers, but I didn't know what I was doing. I only played
You
50
you
cent
were
on one
gambling
number.
underage, Jenny?
Huh?
You were gambling underage?
Yeah, I was in ninth grade back then. I didn't know better. And I won the lottery, but it was only $25 or $30 that I won that year because I didn't know what I was doing. That next day, my mom asked me, Jenny, what number came out because she played it. She was in the living room. She had the paper. This is the lottery number. And said, Jenny, what number came out? I said, Ma, give me the paper. This is what happened. From her hands, it was snatched and vanished in thin air. I was in ninth grade back then. I never forget that. We never found the ticket ever again. It wasn't. Wow. Thank you.
Oh, the senior boat.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So
May
Mm.
it's
God
not only
bless you
that,
with
between
more.
you and your mom, that one time when the feather fell between you and your mom.
Yes, that feather. I was in mommy's house. Mommy don't have chicken. I mean, chicken. They don't have birds or anything like that. And we were talking, and a feather fell between us, literally out of thin air. A white feather. And she looked at me. I looked at her. I was like, "This is a feather, a real feather." And I know for a fact, mommy didn't have feathers in her house at all. It was a
How do
beautiful
you
event.
pronounce
That
it?
moment.
What's an omen of feathers? So what is seeing feathers?
It's angels are around us.
Okay.
Mm. Even if it's different colors, because some feathers are different colors.
Yeah, because the angels are different colors. They
Hmm.
Archangel is Michael is blue.
Hmm.
Raphael is green.
Every time I
Okay,
see feathers, it reminded me of my grandmother.
and the white one is purity. It's about pure. It's about spiritual journey. It's about new beginnings. It's about God is protecting you.
Mm-hmm. Y también, you know how you
Surround
guys are,
yourself with the white light always, and everything will come.
también, you know how they were going back, how they were talking about the negativity. También puedes poner un vaso de agua by your bed, para absorber todo lo negative. And when you get up in the
Yes.
morning, esa agua, tírala lejos de tu casa. Mm-hmm.
Or flush it
Yeah.
down the toilet. Can you flush it down the toilet?
You can
Some
do
people
that too
flush
if
it
you
down the
live in
toilet.
the fifth floor.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that if you live in the fifth floor. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they,
Yeah, I can experience with angels. The angels are always there with me. I never forgot one day I was sleeping and this wall right here, I got plastic in my window. This wall right there, I um I saw a sunset in the wall and I saw the angel flying off to the sunset. And I was like, wait a minute, what is this? They come and they play with me, they talk to me, they give me advice. And you need to write them down. You need to write them down because they're helping you in your journey. They're helping you, guiding you. That's why when you don't ask questions in your dreams about different things, it's because they're guiding you to a different journey. And recently, I was sleeping and I woke up to roses coming out of the wall, out of thin air. The wall, you could see the roses coming out. And that's the Virgin Mary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Jenny PP. What's the PP? Yeah, because the angels want you to know that they're with you. Okay, angels are there, and family members are there. They help you. Yeah, yeah, because your house is open. Your house, you have gifts. CC, you are open to your gift, and people knows that. People can come to my house and say, "Wow, I shouldn't leave your house because my house is quiet, calmness, and it's like homecoming for people."
yeah,
Yes,
no, yeah,
very
my
calm.
sister's saying that when she started opening her spiritual journey, she would get a lot of white feathers. Me too. I would
Yeah,
find a
because
lot of
the
white
angels
feathers.
are there with you, and they want you to know that that everything's gonna be fine.
White feathers and white butterflies.
Yeah, white butterflies is a new beginning, a new journey. Remember, the butterflies are because the worm becomes butterfly, right? The caterpillar.
Yeah,
So the caterpillar is becoming new. So
the metamorphosis.
the butterfly is a beginning of a new journey. Okay, that's what the butterfly is about.
People come to my
Yeah,
house. The demon
Mm-hmm.
here came to my house. I was just looking up orange butterfly. People come to my home and don't want to leave. Yeah,
Pero
that's a good
también,
sign, but ya ves que dicen que al 3 días el arrimado y el muerto apesta, girl. Don't let them stay too long.
the thing is about the butterfly don't stay alive for 3
No.
days, only for 2 days straight, and they die.
Yeah, it's very interesting. Even like a lot of the butterflies, like I was reading about the monarch butterflies, how they make that trip. It's very interesting because you think they're flying and they're going, no, like it's like they're flying and I think they're flying and they're, or is it some other butterfly? Because I know the monarch butterfly flies all the way to Mexico, but there's some that as they're flying, they're laying eggs, and when they fly, and the other ones are born. It's like a cycle of probably the food.
pero
Richard,
Who's
también
how
hay,
is Richard? How's your boyfriend?
oh, oh,
Yeah, how's
está
your husband?
mejor.
¿Ya está en
Ahí
la
está ahorita,
casa?
no. Ya, está acostado nomás. He's doing the dialysis ahí ahorita. Ujú.
Okay.
Thank you, Daddy, for all
Nomás
the
que lo
prayers
cansa
you did
mucho.
for Richard and his husband.
Thank you,
Well, I
yeah,
call
que
him
le
husband,
release
but
himself. Oye, Jenny, y también cuando
I
uno va a
would love
entrar a
to
una...
help visit. Yeah, it is very nice to help those people that chose
Ujú.
God, that chose people to help people that missing in cold cases is a wonderful gift. ¿Qué te iba a decir, Richard?
Oh, y también cuando uno va a una casa y no se siente a gusto, uno debe de irse, ¿no? Because hay
No,
algo...
no. You need to make sure that you made a cross
Ajá.
before you walk into anybody's house. Not offensive to anybody. It's
Ujú.
because you don't know what's happening in the house.
Mm,
If you don't know the person at all, and you just going to meet them for the first time, and you don't know them at all from
ujú,
what, you always make a cross
ujú,
in the name of Jesus Christ. Ask the Archangel Michael to protect you, and walk in.
mm.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. Yo me persino for everything, and it don't matter. I'm walking to work, and people think I'm crazy. Como que por la señal de la Santa Cruz. De mis enemigos, líbrame, Señor. En nombre del Padre, del Hijo, del Espíritu Santo, y
Mhm.
vámonos. And people are like, "What is he doing?" Or
There,
when there's a
it's
church, when I drive by the church, también me persino.
there's places that I gone that I felt unease, and I know that is something there. And it happened to be Doran's daughter's house that Doran told me to cleanse her home because she felt that she smelled horse pee at 7 in the morning, and we cleaned the house that day, and they never smelled the horse pee ever again.
Wow.
Yeah. Anybody has any question? No more questions here.
Any preguntas? Anybody has questions? They want to ask Jenny? I want to tell us about an experience. So, how was your interview, Jenny?
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
You're welcome. I felt like it went well. We were flowing very nicely there.
I'm into that. Yes,
But
it
it was
was.
but it was interesting at the beginning. There was technical difficulties, ¿verdad?
Yeah, como
Yeah,
que
but before I went in, I asked Archangel Gabriel to help us.
to protect us.
So
Yeah.
do you think that was some negativity trying to block?
No,
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 or
it's
technical?
that something was blocking it. It could have been the energy of the electricity, too much
Mm,
energy.
mm-hmm,
Quality
So that's what it was.
mm,
Oh, Mercury retrograde. We're in Mercury retrograde
You're
because
welcome.
I saw people were all upset because I was like, "Happy Mercury retrograde," but thank you, Sharika. But I meant to like, because I prayed to Mercury and I said, no matter what happens today, please be gentle with us. Whatever happens this whole Mercury break, porque dura hasta May 21st, I think. I was like, whatever happens, please be gentle with us. Please be gentle with us. Let us learn whatever lesson we might have to learn. Teach us whatever you have to teach us. But just be gentle with all of us, especially all of us in the group and everybody that I touch. Them
Yes.
to be a good learning experience.
yes.
Yeah, it does happen.
The reason I wrote my books is because I know if I went through all that turmoil, I know people will go through it, and maybe a little bit of my writing or my piece of advice can help
Mhm.
somebody. That's why I wrote my book, to help somebody.
It's so funny because I've had my own crazy experiences where, man, I thought I was going crazy too. And reading those parts of your book, especially when you started getting into like where you started learning like or what did you call it? I could go back into the thing, but it's on this one actually. Where you started going, I guess, accepting or the all of this just started happening, man. It just starts taking off on this like on a ride.
When I started writing my book, I felt like I wanted to tell a little bit my story, talk about my family, who had this gift, and then go back to the story.
Do it
It's
again.
like the movie. You know how the movie they
Yeah, like a
show a
movie.
movie and they talk
Yeah.
about the story and then they go back and then talk about the whole rest of it. That's how I wanted to do the first book.
Jenny,
My sec
did you change the name on all those people or just on the
the people that didn't give me permission to write the names
okay, okay.
Oh, okay.
and
Well,
protection
did
of
you
the
get
children.
permission? Did you get permission from all the tios and the tias and the nieces and the nephews and the
The only one that I didn't write say the names on the books, it was the children because the children were small back then.
So I was gonna ask you that. Kyle, there was two kids named Kyle or más era uno
Kyle
in the
was
book.
two of them because I got two nephews with the same name.
Yeah, that's what I was okay. That's what I understood. Thank you, Ceci.
Jenny,
We're
I'm
so
so
grateful for
grateful,
meeting
Jenny,
you.
to meeting you and everyone on live to TikTok. You're like the family, Titi Jenny. Thank you, Titi Jenny.
Mm.
All right.
Hi, Sunburst. How are you, Sunburst? Hi, everybody. You know, at the beginning when a lot of you guys came on, we weren't able to say hi because ya estaba the interview on high gear. But hi to everybody.
Hello,
Hi to all of you
everybody.
guys. Thank you for coming to my podcast here with Alicia and with Jenny, Alicia, Ricardo, and Jenny.
No, I went to see the car. I went to see the car, but the car wasn't the correct car. Something wrong with what's wrong with it?
Yeah, you guys. So once again, if you guys wanna don't do give Jenny some donations for her car or for the computer, anything helps. You could do her it's a Cash App $ Jen, right? Just from what
Yeah.
I remember. And anything helps. I know she said chivea Jenny, but it's okay. She's done a lot of things for us. Every time she sits there and she's out for hours spending time sending us information, giving us information for spirit, she deserves our help. Yeah, oh yeah, she gives us the chancletas once in a while, definitely.
Yeah, that's funny.
That is funny. So so then what are you doing now, Jenny? Are you working on your third book? Are you still working on the
I'm
third one
working
or
on
the
my
fourth one?
fourth book.
What's the third one?
The third one is when the white light changed me once again. That's the
Oh,
third one.
so
But
you
I
had a
what happened was I switched it. It was supposed to be the second book, but because had that book was a lot of pages on it, and he had too many family members passing away in 2014. I had to take some pages out because it was already going to 500 pages. I was like, this is too much. So I took out some pages, and I'm working on my fourth book. But I already have one book done. That's my fourth book. It's Mommy's sickness, Wagner's, and I'm waiting to save money to pay the editor to fix that book. To entonces put it out there. Que sé que ella repeta chancletazos.
ella reparte chancletazos. Okay,
Yeah.
so you're working on the fourth one. So you already have okay, so you have when the light changed me, you have the record
For the record, and I have the when the light changed me. I'm working on. I already finished Mommy's book that is called the silent disease called Wagner's. That's Mommy's. That's nothing to do with me. It's about people knowing what Wagner's is about. I finished that book, but I need to copyright it and I need to how can I say edit it that book. And then I'm going to start the fifth book that is about spirituality, and it's also another book that I'm working on about angels.
Okay. Well, girl, en boca cerrada no entran moscas, girl. So keep all those plans aquí en tu head, en tu corazón, and don't share with
I am,
anybody
and
para
I'm
que no
working
te
another
echen
one
malas
that
vibras.
somebody gave me an idea on, and as soon as I work on it and finish what I need to do, I need to get some people's addresses,
Okay.
um, and stuff because I'm planning to do another one, but I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm
Yeah.
going to work on it first.
Yes. The more you keep
Um,
things quiet, only share them when they're ready to be shared. Hasta entonces,
yes,
because ya
yes.
ve que hay
But
mucha.
my computer, because my computer try like to shut off by itself. when he wants to. So I'm having a hard time writing. So I'm going to wait
Hi,
until I
Belinda.
can get my computer going. Hello, Belinda.
It's always
Yeah,
enlightening to hear other people's spiritual life experience. Mine too. I That's what I love. I mean, one of the things I love more about life is listening to other people talk. Especially, they have something beautiful to a story, or I really find it fascinating.
yeah.
Especially with all this spiritual stuff. It's
Yeah, we
very
learn from one
fascinating.
another.
You know. Um,
Yes, I
Jenny
did.
said,
We'll send it tomorrow or Wednesday. I send it Wednesday because I need to call my niece to pick it up tomorrow. That way, she can I send send it in the post office. Okay. Because I
"Hi,
didn't get a
Jen.
card today. I thought I was gonna get a card today, but I didn't.
Mike, thank you for sharing the tappings and everything. I really appreciate it. Thank you for getting me to the 30.2K. Thank you guys. So
Anybody
so
else
so
wanna
after
ask?
the book, sorry.
No, I did get your address. I realized I had it, so I did have it. I'm going to write it, send it to my email. That way I'll have it. Okay. So anybody else don't have no more questions?
Anybody else want to add to the interview before we log off? We could take
Okay.
a break in case. So you planning on opening your live today, Jenny?
Yeah, maybe
Or
later on. The porque como algo.
yeah, you too. Yeah. So I'm gonna. Oh, hold on. We have a guest. Okay, caller caller 92945.
Hi, Jenny.
Hey,
Hey,
sweetheart,
send
how are
it to
you?
me. Hi,
Good.
hi, how you doing, Priscilla?
Hey,
I'm good.
Priscilla.
Hey, how's
Or
everyone?
Lotus? Lotus, my dear Lotus.
Hmm.
Priscilla, you could call me Priscilla. Um, just wanted to ask Jenny a quick question. First, did you realize that you inspire others not only in spirituality, but I mean, it's not just the woman, but I'd like to speak for as a woman, I'd like to speak for the women that you empower us to, you know, do our own thing and get into, starting our own small business and, entrepreneurship. And I'm curious if you realize that you inspire us in that way.
So I know some people will say that they shouldn't do copy me on rosaries or bracelets. We all different states. We all different states, and I don't mind helping anybody continue the journey by making bracelet, candles, or whatever. I mean, we're not in the same states. I mean, if we were in the same states, I didn't care either because we're different. We can do different things. The vibes for us is different. But to change people's life, I never thought I was going to do that. That was the last thing in my mind. To experience the way I'm feeling, the way you feel about me. I was talking to my brother about that today. I never thought that I'd be the one that people be looking for. And if I disappear for for days, they be calling me asking me what happened to me, and he was laughing about that. He's like, it's different vibes, and he likes it because he be laughing about it. He says, I watch it once in a while, and it's the way that people act with you. It's different. It's nice. He knows what about you guys. Each one of you, he knows people's number, names, and stuff. Because I be talking about you guys. I
Yeah,
am.
Wow.
I'm proud for every one of you. How far you have come. I mean, I'm
Awesome.
glad that I was there to help you because I didn't have nobody to help me and I struggled. And if I could help somebody succeed in their own journey, I am blessed to have that. Doreen always said, don't block your blessings. Don't let, if you're going to give somebody something, they deny it. Tell them, don't block my blessings because
Yeah.
it's not for you to, it's for you to have it, right? It's like
Yeah.
Eric said the other day, Jenny, I want to help you and stuff. And I like, do what you want to do. I'm not going to block your blessings like Doreen I used to tell me. So those words I will never forget from Doreen.
Love that, Empath.
People used to ask me, "What are you gonna do tomorrow?" Oh, nothing. Whatever comes in my mind, whatever happens, happens. And they used to say, "Jenny, you shouldn't be talking like that. Just say no. I'm gonna talk. Do this." I said, "No. Whatever comes in front of me, I do it." That's one thing I learned from, and I'm blessed by that.
Now, after seeing this interview, I could totally picture you doing like, a short speech, but in like one of those either like women conferences or those motivational seminars
Like
that
a
they do.
motivational speaker type of.
Yes, yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes,
Oh
yes. I
wow,
could totally see you doing that. Yes, yes.
that's a
I
confirmation
So,
see you
from
doing a
Sonia,
lot of
because
that
Sonia
stuff.
said that to me the other night, day too.
yeah,
I see you
A
I
traveling around the
confirmation.
country. Yeah, I
mhm.
see you traveling around the country, sharing your stories, sharing your knowledge with women también. I see it, having like where you're having like mediumship, like very similar to what a lot of the famous ones online do. Where like Teresa's and they go to, but you're obviously not that huge just yet. But you're gonna start off with where you could do like workshops of like 10, 11 people, 15 people, and you show up, you do your thing, and then you get to go on home and I see you doing a lot of that stuff.
Where
Oh
there's like
wow,
a
Well,
pan,
Eric,
where there's like a
Uh,
panel of speakers, and you have your turn, right?
oh wow. All right.
Yeah.
Eric, you should tell her about your store because you always have guest speakers at your store.
yeah, we do. We're always having at my store because I talked to my boss about you. I mentioned to her to you, but I'm gonna talk to you more and I'm gonna ask her to carry the book at the store. But they're always bringing people that come and they're either they speak to the crowd. I mean, they always give something like um we have like they call them the sisters of. There's this church out here. It's in Santa Monica, but they do meditation. They're sisters, but they practice meditation and they come and they talk, so like little stuff like that would definitely be good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's something Doran just told me that too. Doran said, I see you going different places, signing books and everything, and I see you getting together with people." And she told me before she died that Monday, that Friday, she says to me, "Jenny, you're going to meet a lot of people from TikTok this coming weekend, this coming weeks and months. That's going to change your perspective." And that was the weekend that Brujo Luis came in, and Jose came in, and Mike came in, and Eric came in, and everything. I mean, I called her up and said she always gave me points for some reason, and I said, "Doran, I give you 3,000 points," and she said, "Why?" And that was the night that I last talked to her. It was the first time I ever gave her 3,000 points, and she's like, "Oh wow, thank you." And I told her what happened, and it was a nice gathering that weekend. I told her, she said, "I never thought your prediction came out so quickly." She said, "It's gonna keep going and going. It's gonna be big, and it's a lot of them that's gonna be your close to you and stuff like that. And you guys are close to me, and it's amazing how far I come, and I'm thank God for each one of you."
And I just want to say, don't ever doubt yourself. Um, I know it seems like out of left field, but I promise you it's
No, I
relevant.
do sometimes um think that way too. So I mean, don't get me wrong, we're human, and be like, did I do it right? Did I do it this? But then it's like, yeah, I cannot compete with my spirit guys because my spirit guys are better than me. They don't lie.
So
Remember,
Yeah.
Teresa,
the spirit guys don't lie. They never lie. They always help you because they're coming from God.
Teresa Maestro, I'm sure online you could find like we're in Burlington, Iowa, you could find a meditation center or something we can. But Jennie Ortiz also does guided meditations on YouTube. What's your YouTube handle again?
Author Jenny Ortiz.
Author Jennie
Author
Ortiz on
Jenny
YouTube.
Ortiz.
And she does guided meditations, and you could do those. Meanwhile, you're looking for something near your hometown. Because I do.
You get metaphysical group. You can find them in any state. You can find them. You also can find churches, metaphysical churches, also that you can go to, and they will help you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, I just wanted to share that. I'm going to let myself out.
Gracias.
Okay.
Gracias,
No, thank
Tops.
you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Lourdes.
much.
Thank you, Priscilla.
Thank you. And we see Priscilla moving on up también.
Oh, I know. I've been seeing her
Oh
lives
yeah,
too.
I see her going places. I see her. You grew more than you think, Priscilla.
I don't know if you
And
hear
I'm
us, but we signed
blessed
off,
to
but
see
yeah.
you do that.
And especially in
Eric
the
don't
last
stay
2 months.
behind. Eric came a long way too. Eric was quiet. And look where he's standing at now, giving me an interview.
Yeah, Priscilla. Yes. So you keep on believing on yourself. You see how because I remember you were there quiet, también just listening. Now look at you. You have your second platform, Lotus and the Light 111.
And
Yes.
somebody not staying behind. Sunburst came a long way too. And I'm very proud of everybody that I have come close to.
Thank you. I get on Jenny's YouTube meditation. Oh, you do? Okay, good, good. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she does. Yeah, she has a lot to offer, and we're very grateful and thankful for having her in our lives.
Thank you.
So
Thank you
I
so
know you.
much.
I guess on a 6, 7, 8, 9. So you say you're gonna take a little snack, but you might come back on in a little bit.
Yeah. Let me eat something and then I come back.
Yeah, so I'm gonna get off for a little bit también. I'm sure everybody stretch your wings, your legs, track those necks, do
Thank
your
you so
shopping.
much for the interview, Eric. You did a great job.
Oh, thank you, Jenny. No, thank you for coming to do this with me. I really
Thank
appreciate it with
you.
all my heart. Un día
Thank
nos
you.
conoceremos to do a live interview.
All right.
Yeah. So then
Gracias.
Jenny's gonna go live in a little bit. She's just gotta, gather her batteries up, recharge, eat a little bit, and then allá nos encontramos todos, okay?
All right.
Thank you guys all so
Okay,
much.
bye.
Okay.
Really
Talk to you
appreciate the
guys
time.
later.
Appreciate all of you guys.
Bye.
Thank you.